Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto has elements and bijuus chakra council bashing. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by RASENRAIKIRINOJUTSU03 and link in the description and support writer. Let's start the video. The Fox Anon. Chapter 1. The True Naruto and the Sand Sound Invasion. The blonde-haired boy wearing an orange jumpsuit with blue eyes growled as he lifted himself off the arena floor. Before him stood Kiba Inuzuka, his opponent for the preliminary rounds of the Chunin exams. "I'll kill that damned mutt. No one crosses a fox." Naruto grinned. "Why are you grinning, dope?" Kiba growled as the proctors looked to the blonde when he started to chuckle, then outright laugh. "Sensei, I think Naruto finally lost it." Kakashi looked on at his student and nodded to his other. "We'll just have to see what Naruto has planned." Everyone that heard the man nodded as Naruto summoned several shadow clones. "Keep him busy." The 10 clones nodded as Naruto seemingly vanished from sight, only as several few saw him. The clones started to dash about the arena, spreading confusion to the dog user. "Alright, time to show these fools who the real dope is." Naruto licked his lips from his spot and assumed a stance, showing meditation. Naruto stood before a large cage, its doors held by a single piece of paper that said seal, protected by what looked to be its own cage with a padlock with 5 holes. "Ah, welcome Kit. Good to see you." The massive fox saw the boy with an evil grin on his face. "Dusan, can I have some chakra? I'm tired of playing around." Kyuubi smirked. "I have something better than just lending it to you, Kit. Just tear the seal in half and my power will be yours. Before that though, get that damned pronged seal off. Here are the seals for the jutsu." Naruto nodded as he ran through the seal the fox sent to his mind before slamming the multicolored fingers at the 5-pronged seal pod lock. 5-pronged seal release. Naruto felt his control on his chakra come back and smirked as he tore the seal that held the fox in half. "See you around, Kyuubi Tusan." The fox grinned as Naruto vanished from his mindscape. "Just be safe, Kit. Or I'll kick your ass." Outside of the boy's mind, Kiba had finished the final clone as a large chakra spike was felt in the room, but Kiba, being the fool he is, couldn't pinpoint the location of the chakra, but everyone else could. Kakashi revealed his Sharingan and smiled as he watched red chakra flow through the boy's chakra coils, and the boy's eyes held something only one other person in the village held, 2 if you counted his sensei. Sharingan. I guess Naruto is coming out of his shell. About time. Kakashi smirked under his mask as everyone only saw blue slit eyes. "Oh Kiba." Kiba looked to the ceiling and paled when he saw a feral Naruto looking back at him with a chakra tail. "Let's dance." Naruto launched himself off the roof of the arena and down to where Kiba stood. "Die." Naruto's fist came crashing down onto the arena floor as Kiba narrowly dodged it. Everyone went wide-eyed at the crater Naruto landed in the middle of. "Oh darn, I missed." Naruto grinned evilly as Kiba took a step back in fear before tossing his dog a soldier. "What the hell are you? You're not Naruto Baka." Kiba yelled as Naruto let out a roar. "I am Naruto no Kyuubi. Son of the Kyuubi no Kitsune, and you are going to pay, Kiba." Naruto chuckled at the looks given to him from around the room as he pulled out a scroll from his pocket. "Oops, did I let the fox out of the bag?" Naruto smirked as he unsealed a familiar sword that almost made Kakashi ready to jump in and stop the fight, almost. "Oh well, I guess they'd learn about it sooner or later." Naruto smirked as he cast a glance to the Hokage. "Right, old man. After all, Mizuki couldn't keep his mouth shut about Kyuubi being sealed in me, so why should I?" Naruto lunged at Kiba, sword in hand. "Bubikiri Houcho Sakura," Kakashi and the newly recovered Tenten yelled out, and Naruto made yet another crater where the dog boy once stood. "What's wrong, Kiba? Afraid of a little fox? Some mutt you are. Your owner has more balls than you." Naruto lifted the Zanbatsu over his shoulder and pointed with a clawed hand to the growling dog. Kiba growled at the insult and started to run through seals. "He's not my owner." Naruto scoffed as Kiba crouched down and Akamaru jumped onto his back. Man-beast clone. In an explosion of smoke, 2 Kibas were standing, ready to try and tear Naruto to shreds. "Hey, maybe you do have some balls. How about I show them to you?" Naruto smirked as he rushed the 2 clones. "This is for my first year with you guys in class." Naruto kicked Kiba in the chin, sending him into the air, tail flailing in anger. "Kakashi-sensei. What the hell is going on with Naruto?" Sakura yelled as she watched her teammates start to tear Kiba apart. "This is for calling me a dope." Naruto brought down his Zanbatsu and left a deep gash in Kiba's chest, blood splashing to the floor. Naruto then felt a claw get him in the back and growled. "Damned mutt, I have someone to play with you." Naruto kicked Akamaru away and bit his thumb before starting seals. Summoning jutsu. In an explosion of smoke, a black fox the size of a full-grown Labrador stood glaring at the mutt. You say something. Kakashi asked as everyone looked to the man as if he had just grown another head. This man was looking on impassive as if he had seen this Naruto before. You called, Naruto-sama. Naruto smirked and pointed to the Kiba clone. Do as you wish with the mutt. Mutt boy over there, Naruto rushed off to the injured Kiba. Is mine. Naruto spun and threw his blade at Kiba, making the boy jump to avoid it and kicked him in the chin. Here I go. Naruto slammed Kiba into the wall and picked Kubikiri Haucho out of the wall. Death is here for you, Kiba. Naruto grinned as he slashed his sword to kill the dog boy, only for a kunai to block the blade. Damnable Proctor. Naruto growled as he pulled the Zanbatsu back and started to walk away. Oh well, I think he's paid enough. Naruto sealed the sword into the scroll and jumped to the stands on the opposite side of his fellow Leaf Genin. For now. Naruto leaned against the wall as the Hokage looked to the boy and turned his gaze to the Genin, all of who were looking at Naruto in fear. What is wrong with you, Naruto? The Hokage sighed as he watched Naruto get up and walk out of the room. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki. Wait, cough, where are you going? Naruto turned a blue slit eye to the proctor. My match is done and I'm hungry. Got a problem? Heiei shook his head as Naruto walked out and Heiei turned to the board to announce the next match. Next match will be Hinata Hyuga and Niji Hyuga. Naruto. Naruto scowled as he turned with a kunai in hand to see the one person that he hated more in life than anyone. Orochimaru. What the hell do you want? Haven't you given me and Toussaint enough trouble? He's begging me to kill you right now. Naruto growled as he flexed his claws only for Orochimaru to hold up a hand. Calm yourself, Naruto-kun. I wanted to strike a deal with you. The answer is no. I know you plan on destroying Konoha and it's fine with me. Just do me a favor, don't kill the old man. He's the only one that actually cared for me. Other than the Hyuga girl, but she's nothing to me. Naruto turned his back to the Sannin as Orochimaru chuckled. What if I told you I know where your mother was, Naruto? What then? Naruto vanished from sight and shocked the Sannin with a sword to his neck. I'd say you better start talking and tell me so I can find her and kill her for leaving me here in this hellhole. Orochimaru frowned. You think she left you here? Foolish boy. Kushina-chan is being held by a group called Akatsuki. A group bent on finding all the bijuus and using them to take over the world. They took her when Kyuubi attacked Konoha and your father sealed him in you. Naruto growled as his blade started to draw blood. You better watch what you say, human. I'm a demon just like Kyuubi. Minato is not my father, condemning me to a life of hell. Kyuubi is more of a father, now, what is it you want? Orochimaru smirked. Why, I want your help, Naruto-kun. Help me take down Akatsuki, clear my name and get back in good graces with your father. After all, Kyuubi should know that it wasn't me that killed his mate. It was Pain. Naruto growled. You're lying. Kyuubi smelled snakes all over his den and knew it was you from the Konoha headband that was left. Orochimaru growled. I see. Damnable bastard stole my summoning contract. Naruto withdrew his blade and started to walk back the way he was going. Looks to me that you have a lot of work to do. Now get out of here. Orochimaru smirked. Very well, Naruto-kun. Just to let you know, Itachi is also an Akatsuki. Should you meet him, ask him. He'll tell you what I just did about Kushina-chan. Orochimaru melted into the floor as Naruto walked off. Damned snake. Naruto scoffed as he continued on before a vanilla scent caught his attention. I wonder who that could be. Naruto licked his lips as looked to his sword. Maybe someone to bath my sword. Naruto evilly grinned as he walked towards the scent. Hokage. The Hokage stood before the genin that passed except two, Naruto and Sasuke. Shikamaru raised his hand and the Hokage sighed, knowing what was going to be asked. Yes, Nara-san. Was Naruto telling the truth when he said he had Kyuubi sealed in him? All the eyes in the room turned to the Hokage, who looked with a defeated look. What I'm about to tell you all is an S-rank secret of the village hidden in the leaves. Since Naruto has decided to announce it to you all, that secret is now held to all of you. You must never tell another living soul about it or even speak of it under the penalty of death. Yes, Naruto is the nine-tailed fox's container. The fourth Hokage couldn't kill the fox, being an immortal being. So, he sealed it in a newborn child, Naruto. I am warning you all, Leaf Ninja or not, you will be executed if you even utter a single word about Kyuubi to anyone. So, you mean to tell me that my father has been telling me to stay away from Naruto because of a stupid fox being sealed in him? Troublesome. Shikamaru growled as most of the Leaf Genin nodded in agreement. What everyone fails to see is that Naruto is in fact Naruto. Not the fox itself as most of the villagers and ninjas see him. Now, on with the test. Naruto. Naruto opened the door to a room, following the sweet vanilla he had been for the last few hours, and looked to see the girl from sound knocked out on the bed. So, she's the source of that sweet smell. Naruto walked in and closed the door, locking it shut. Let's see, I have no grudge against her so I won't kill her, sorry Kubikiri. Naruto looked to the girl's face and frowned. Their face shows pain. I know Shikamaru didn't hit her head that hard. Naruto closed his eyes and opened them to show the Sharingan. Poison. Why would she be poisoned? Orochimaru, do you really wish to destroy the leaf that you'd kill your own shinobi to do it? Naruto walked forward and placed the Zanbatsu against the wall. What do you think, Tusan? Should I help her? I have no problems with her, so maybe I can learn more about Orochimaru's plans. I'd say help her. Maybe she could be a toy for you to play with. Naruto rolled his eyes as he channeled demon chakra into his hands. Mirotu-san. You know I won't treat women like that unless they deserve it, Kyuubi chuckled. I know, I just wanted to mess with you. Gotta admit though, nice body for a 13-year-old. Naruto sighed and nodded. He placed his chakra-covered hands over the girl's stomach and heart, sending chakra into her system. This reminds me of when I sped up Kakashi-sensei's recovery back in Wave. I just hope he played the part well. A moan from the girl made him look to her face to see her calmed and sleeping peacefully. A few hours passed and Naruto watched her face flash through different emotions at a fast pace. I think I'll learn more about this girl. Her face keeps flowing through emotions like a river. Kyuubi nodded as the boy stopped the chakra flow. Done. Wah? Kin opened her eyes slowly to see Naruto sitting on a chair. What happened and why are you here? Naruto chuckled as he activated his Sharingan. Well, I took off my mask and crushed my opponent. Then I ran into your Otakage when I was going to get some food and then I followed the smell of vanilla here to see you. You were poisoned by the way. Kin shot up and clutched her head. I remember now. Kabuto-sama came in here and put poison in my system using a syringe. It seems Orochimaru wanted to use you for something. Now, about why I'm here, well, I just happened to come by chance, hoping to find someone to bath my sword in blood with. But, I have no grudge against you so you have no worries. Naruto patted the girl's shoulder as he got up and grabbed his sword. Well, I better get going. Wait, how did you know I was poisoned? Kin shot at the blonde. Well, the Sharingan is very useful when you practice with it enough. I just used it to search your body for the pain your face was showing and boom, poison in the system. As for how I cured you, I just used my demon chakra. Being a Jinchuriki is sometime a wonderful thing. You're a Jinchuriki? Naruto nodded. Yep, I'm the demon container of Kyuubi. I see. So, what do you get out of curing me of the poison? Naruto smirked. Well, you can tell me more about yourself. When I got rid of the poison, your face started to flash through emotions at a rapid pace. It took a whole 2 hours for me to fully get rid of the poison, so I saw you started to cry at one point and then a few whimpers and such, all the signs of a bad dream gone to hell. Naruto saw the girl lower her face to her sheets. Wanna talk? I know what Orochimaru want to use me for. It's a summoning jutsu called Impure World Resurrection. For the sacrifice of one person, you can bring another to life. Kabuto explained it to me before injecting me with the poison. I was having nightmares about all the things he had done to me before I became a genin. Naruto narrowed his eyes and took his seat back at the girl's side. Tell me, Kin. I already have a death warrant for his ass, so this will be all the more pleasurable when I kill him down the road. Kin nodded. Well, it goes back to when I was only a baby. Orochimaru kidnapped a few hundred infants from their homes and experimented on them with different bloodlines and such. I was the only one to survive having all the genes he had stolen artificially put into. He placed 4 Kekkei Genkai in me. Kin grabbed her arm and closed her eyes tightly. The wood bloodline of the Shadame Hokage, the Uchiha clan Sharingan, the ice manipulation of the Mizudamari clan from Mist, and something he called the silver chakra of the Haddock. Naruto clenched his fists as he heard his father figure yell out in anger in his head. Orochimaru will pay for what he did, Kin. I will make sure of it. Kin looked up to Naruto with a tear-stained face. He threw me away a year ago when he saw no signs to the bloodline and he also said those traits wouldn't be passed on since they're artificial. Naruto's Sharingan started to spin wildly until a pinwheel formed, scaring the girl. Are you okay? I'm perfectly fine. I'll be taking my anger out on my opponent in the finals. Now, of these bloodlines, have any showed up? You can tell me, I won't hurt you. Kin looked to her sheets with a sad look. Yes, only 2 though. The wood bloodline and the ice bloodline. I was scared of what he would do if he found out so I used nothing but Genjutsu my whole life, rarely training in ninjutsu. Naruto nodded as Kin looked to him again. What happened to your Sharingan? Your eyes look like they have a pinwheel in them. Naruto smirked at this news. Well, I guess my anger at Orochimaru awakened the final form, the Manjikyu Sharingan. It seems they don't need to kill their best friend if they get angry at someone enough. Naruto smirked as he looked Kin in the eye, putting her into an unbreakable staring contest. I will make sure to kill Orochimaru. No one should have the pain of what you do. Naruto got up and was about to leave when Kin yelled out to him. Why help your enemy? I'm with Sound, so why did you help me? Naruto turned back to the girl, his blue slit eyes locking onto her chocolate brown and a gentle smile on his face. Because of what I just learned and the fact you don't deserve to die by that snake's hand. Now, if I were you, I'd leave Odo and find a new village to take you in. Odo is only going to get you killed. Naruto walked to the door and unlocked it, Kubikiri Haucho over his shoulder. If you want to find me, look on top of the four faces. I'm almost always there. Name's Naruto by the way. Naruto left the girl with that riddle as he walked away, leaving a shocked Kin. Hokage Monument. Orochimaru will die. I swear it. That fool tried to obtain not only immortality, but all the bloodlines possible. Naruto growled as he thought back to Kin words. Kin said Orochimaru gave her the Ice Kekai Genkai. That means he somehow got it from Haku's clan. But how? Naruto closed his eyes and thought as Kyuubi roared in his cage. He must have kidnapped one of her clan members. As for the silver chakra of the Hada clan, he must have gotten a blood sample from Kakashi, since Akumo is dead. The Sharingan from the Uchiha clan and the wood not sure. Naruto nodded and stood up, looking to the Hokage tower. I think it's time to go see the old man about my parents. But before that, I need some new clothes. I've dropped the mask, now I just need to get out of this damn jumpsuit. Naruto jumped from the top of the Yondame's head and landed on all fours before heading into town. Damned village. Hokage tower. So you wish to leave Odo? The Hokage got a nod from the girl before him. Yes, Hokage-sama. Orochimaru almost killed me so he could use me for a jutsu of his. It's called Impure World Resurrection. For the sacrifice of one person you can bring another back to life. The Hokage sighed and nodded. He also conducted experiments on me, giving me artificial Kekai Genkai. Sarutobi narrowed his eyes. What ones were those? The wood and ice Kekai Genkai, silver chakra of the Haddock and the Sharingan of the Uchiha. Sarutobi shook his head. You're just like an Anbu member of mine. He was given the artificial genes of the Shadame Hokage and he could use them to their full extent. Have any of them shown? Kin nodded. Ice and wood. Sarutobi nodded and tossed a headband to the girl. Welcome to your new home, Tsuchi-san. I will place you under Yamato's tutelage for the wood bloodline of yours. Now, as for where you will stay, I guess you can stay at my compound until I find a place for you. Kin nodded and bowed. Yamato, please escort your new student to the Sarutobi compound and tell Asuma to show her around. The tiger mask Anbu walked out from the shadows and took off his mask. Right away, Hokage-sama. Kin followed the Anbu out of the office as the Hokage took out his crystal ball. Now, what is Naruto up to? I hope he isn't planning to do anything rash. The Hokage found Naruto in a shinobi store with a large scroll tied to his back. What is a store doing open at this time of night? It's past midnight. The Hokage watched as Naruto started to pull clothes off the racks and seal them into the scroll and then moved on to weapons, taking kunai, shuriken, exploding tags and his Zanbatsu holster. He even took several jutsu scrolls from the shelves and a set of chakra weights before he left the store. Naruto, you really are a fox. The Hokage sighed as he motioned for one of his Anbu. He then pulled out a checkbook and started to write down the estimated amount that he thought Naruto stole. Take this to the Higurashi shinobi shop with this letter and be sure that the Higurashis get this. The Anbu nodded and vanished with the letter and check. Naruto, you're going to bankrupt me if you do that again. Naruto. Alright, time to change and see if I like him. Naruto unsealed a pair of new clothes and smirked. They were black Anbu style pants, a crimson red muscle shirt, Anbu armor and a Chunin style vest to go over it, black fingerless gloves with metal plates, a red face mask, black combat boots and a holster for Kubikiri Haucho. Naruto quickly changed into his new clothes and put his Zanbatsu in the holster. I'm glad I got these a few sizes bigger than what I am. After all, Tusan will be making me taller overnight. Naruto changed back into his jumpsuit, leaving the jacket off and started off for the Hokage tower. Time to get my new home. Naruto entered the Hokage tower through the window to see the old man doing paperwork. You know, there is a more simpler way to do that. The Hokage looked to the window to see Naruto. There were also simpler ways to get clothes and such from a store than stealing them. Naruto chuckled as he took a seat in front of the Hokage. Yeah, I know, old man. I just didn't have the time to wait for them to open in the morning. I needed to get new clothes and you know that most places don't let me get anything because of Tusan. Now, I came to ask you something. Can I have Minato's and Kasen's scrolls please? I know all about them being my parents, so I just want to get my heritage and get out of that place you call an apartment. In exchange, I'll tell you what the secret to getting paperwork done faster. The Hokage sighed as he took out 2 scrolls. First off, I wasn't supposed to give you these until you reach Chunin, but seeing as how you are more than Chunin level, I will make an exception. I want that secret. The Hokage put the scrolls before the genin and placed a pair of keys before him. Those are to your clan house. Now, you need to know that your mother vanished the night you were born. I have no clue where she went. Minato, well, you already know. Naruto nodded as he pocketed the scrolls and picked up the keys. Thanks old man. Where is the house? The Hokage smirked. I think house is an understatement. It's near the Aburam compound. Your father made an agreement with Shibi Aburam to let them tend to the grounds while letting them use it as a breeding ground for their bugs. Also, the final exam is in a month, so do train. Naruto nodded and headed for the window. Now about that secret. Shadow. Naruto smirked as he jumped out of the window and the Hokage growled. Shadow? That doesn't tell me, god damn it, the Hokage growled at himself as he made a shadow clone. Naruto, you little smartass. Well, at least I can train for Orochimaru's attack. Naruto jumped from roof to roof heading for his apartment. I guess I can give the people something to cheer about, Naruto smirked as he landed in front of his door. He rushed around the place, gathering anything he wanted to keep and turned the stove on to let the gas fill the room. He walked out of the small place and lit a match before throwing it and jumping away from the place. Boom. All across Konoha, an explosion at the demon brat's home went off and called for ninja all over the place to gather and celebrate the burning of Naruto Uzumaki, or as they called him, the Kyuubi brat. Naruto landed in front of his new home and smirked as he unsealed the blood lock on the gate to the compound. He walked in and his smirk grew wider when he saw his home was huge. That would make an excellent bonfire. Kyuubi shook his head. What is with you and burning things? You freaking pyromaniac, Naruto puffed out his chest. Yep, and proud of it. Kyuubi sighed as Naruto walked into the main complex and went straight to the master bedroom. Shedding himself of his pants and shirt, he jumped into bed after setting the scroll against the desk. Tomorrow, I'll train to kick the crap out of whoever I have to fight. Hospital, next morning. Naruto walked into the hospital with a huge change in appearance. He now stood 6 feet 5 inches tall with his new clothes on, his face mask covering his lower half of his face, and had crimson highlights in his blonde hair. Kubikiri Haucho was strapped to his back and a kunai holster on his right thigh. Naruto walked up to the reception desk and smirked under his mask at the blush on the woman's face. Could you tell me where Sasuke-Uchiha's room is, please? Naruto? That you? Naruto turned to see Kakashi looking at him with a shocked look. Yo sensei. The woman went wide-eyed with shock and started to berate herself. Damn demon. Trying to seduce me. I thought he died in that explosion at his apartment. Here to see Sasuke. Naruto shook his head. More like looking for you. I wanted to ask if, Kakashi held up a hand and sighed. Sorry Naruto, but the council ordered me to train only Sasuke. But I can give you a few jutsus to learn. Naruto growled and nodded. Then here, Kakashi pulled out several scrolls and handed them to Naruto. They are Chidori and Rikiri, my own jutsus, water clone jutsu and fire style. Dragon missile jutsu. Naruto grinned and nodded. Thanks, sensei. Anything else? Kakashi held his chin in though and snapped his fingers. He pulled out a card and handed it to him. That is a chakra-sensitive card. That will tell you what your affinity is. If it cuts in half its wind, soaks its water, burns its fire, crumples its lightning and turns to dust its earth. Naruto nodded and pushed chakra into the card, watching it cut into 6 separate pieces before showing several different elements. Kakashi went wide-eyed as he watched the paper crumple, burn, turn to dust, soak then freeze, then the remaining pieces sprout arose. Holy shit. Kakashi yelled as the woman behind the counter glared at him. Haddock-san, language. As for you brat, get out of here. Naruto turned a slit eye to the woman and smirked. Oh? What are you going to do about it if I don't? After all, wasn't it just seconds ago you were blushing at the demon boy? Naruto smirked as the woman tried to come up with a retort, but Naruto turned back to his sensei. You have 7 affinities. Earth, wind, fire, water, ice, lightning and wood. What the hell? Naruto scratched the back of his head sheepishly. Wasn't me. Kakashi shook his head as he smiled to his student. And they call Sasuke the greatest prodigy. Well, I'd help you with lightning and fire, but I can't at the moment. But I can offer water walking. Just apply the tree walking method to water and mess with it. Can't make it too easy for you or it wouldn't be a challenge. Oh, and when did you grab Zabuza's sword? Naruto smiled sadly under his mask. I sealed it in a scroll the night before we left. Zabuza told me he'd like me to have it as a thank you gift for something. Kakashi nodded. I see, well I'll see you around. Naruto nodded as he started to walk out of the hospital. By the way, good luck against Neji in the finals. You have the first match. Thanks. Just don't teach Sasuke the Chidori or Rikiri. Knowing him, he'd probably use it against someone of the leaf if he falls to the cursed seal. Kakashi sighed and nodded as the blonde walked out of the hospital. Naruto walked to the hot springs and decided to do the exercise over the hot water. He was about to step out onto the water when his enhanced hearing caught the sound of perverted giggling. Naruto followed the sounds to see a head of white hair peeking into the women's bath. Naruto smirked at an idea and used his sexy jutsu to sneak into the bathhouse. Inside, he saw 3 people that he knew never to piss off. Kurenai Yuhi, Anko Mitarashi and the girl he dubbed Cat Anbu when he was younger. "Hello ladies, may I join you?" The tall crimson-haired blonde girl asked as she walked up to the girls, covered only by a towel. "Naruto, you have 5 seconds to explain why we shouldn't kick your ass." Kurenai hissed as the whiskered-faced girl smirked. "Tell you what, you don't hurt me, and I tell you a little secret. Trust me, you'll want to hear this." Anko looked to the blonde before turning to her fellow purple-haired friend. "What do you think, Yugao?" The purple-haired Anbu smiled and nodded. "I say listen. Usually this has something to do with us. Last time he did this I was able to kick the shit out of a certain weasel for peeking in on me, even if we had crushes on each other." Naruto smirked at the nods. "See that hole over my shoulder? There's someone peeking in on you all right now. White hair and a red overcoat." The girls went red from anger as Naruto chuckled. "I'll go and sit in front of the hole while you all go and beat the living daylights out of him. What do you say?" Anko and Yugao nodded as Kurenai raised a brow. "I agree, but what happened to you to try and kill Kiba in the exams?" Naruto sighed as started to move to the hole. "I'll tell you another time, Kurenai-sensei. Yugao, can you toss me that towel?" Naruto asked as the purple-haired woman threw the towel to him and snuck out of the bath. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. "Pervert." Naruto laughed at the sounds of the pervert being beaten to death and started to head out of the women's bath. The 3 kunoichi came back as Naruto, not in his henge, left and thanked him. Naruto walked around to the pervert to see him clutching his family jewels. "Serves you right, you old pervert," Naruto stated as the man looked to him. "Hey Gaki, what the hell are you doing here?" Naruto smirked. "You remember that blonde girl that you were peeking on? That was my sexy jutsu form. I decided since you wanted to be a pervert, I let them know what you were doing. I hate perverts, even if Tusan, Sarutobi Jiji and Kakashi-sensei are, but they're special cases. Do you know who I am, boy? I am Jiraiya. The greatest of the Sannin and the Toad Sage. And a pervert?" Naruto pointed out. "I'm not a pervert. I'm a super pervert," Jiraiya announced as Naruto groaned. "Whatever, Hiro Sannin. Anyway, since you gave me your name, I'll give you mine. I'm Naruto no Kyuubi. Or Naruto Uzumaki as they also call me. See you around, pervert." Naruto turned and started to leave only to feel his feet sink into the ground. "I don't think so, Gaki. You just saved me the time of looking for you. Sarutobi asked me to help train you for the exams. I hear you already know about your parents and the Kyuubi. Strange though, Sarutobi told me you were a midget." Naruto growled. "Well, Tusan fixed that little problem last night. Now, if you'll be so kind as to let me out of this little jutsu of yours that would be nice." Jiraiya nodded and undid the jutsu. "Thank you. Who is this Tusan you keep mentioning?" "Minato's dead." Naruto narrowed his eyes. "That man has no right to claim me as his son. Kyuubi is more of a father than he's ever been and ever will be. I refuse to take his name, but I will keep my mother's. My Tusan is Kyuubi, which is why I introduced myself as Naruto no Kyuubi." "Brat, you can't trust the fox. Shows what you know, human." Tusan was set up. That damn snake killed his mate and he attacked Konoha in search of him. Ever since then, he's been taking care of me. He even gave me a gift." Naruto closed his eyes and snapped them open, showing the Sharingan. "Now, I'm going to go and train on the water walking exercise. You going to train me or not? Either way, I don't care." Naruto started to walk off as Jiraiya shook off his shock and went after the boy. "Alright, Gaki, I'll train you. But one wrong move from the fox then I'm going to seal him up tight." Naruto nodded as the Sannin led Naruto out of the village to a secluded spot. "Now, to do the water walking exercise, you need to channel chakra to your feet and send it out in waves equally. How much you need to send out is up to you to figure out. I want you to keep doing this until you can move about the water without even thinking about it." Jiraiya saw the boy nodded and smirk under his mask. "Sure thing, Hiro Sannin." Naruto started on the exercise as the Sannin face faulted. "Damn Gaki. Hokage Tower." So, Jiraiya is already training the boy. This will be good for the boy. "I just hope what happened in the tower at 44 doesn't happen again," Sarutobi sighed as he left the office through the window, leaving a clone in his place. Time for some training. Week later. Naruto arrived at his training ground where he found Jiraiya waiting with a card in his hand. Affinity card. Jiraiya nodded as the boy started to list off all his affinities. "Nice try, Gaki, no one has that many affinities. 2 maybe, 3 rare, 7. No freaking way." Naruto chuckled as he took the card and channeled chakra into it, showing all the affinities he mentioned. "Holy Mother of Mary. You were telling the truth. Well, I am a half-demon and I gained 6 of them from Tusan. Wind is my main element. Speaking of elements, I wonder how that girl is doing." Naruto heard the fox in the back of his head chuckle. "Just admit it, kid. You like her." Naruto inwardly growled as Jiraiya summoned a large toad with a scroll. "Sign this." "Aunt, I already signed the fox summoning contract," Naruto stated as Jiraiya dismissed the toad. "So much for that then. Well, what else could I teach you? You already have water walking mastered and tree climbing as well." "Ah. I got it." Jiraiya took out a balloon and filled it with water. "Here's a chakra exercise for you. Make this balloon pop using only your chakra. Like so." Jiraiya made the balloon pop in a matter of seconds, making Naruto nod. "Now, once you can do that, I will teach you the next step. These exercises are part of learning the Rasengan, a jutsu the Yondaime created." Naruto nodded as he started to do the exercise. I wonder how long this will take him. Later that day. Naruto walked into a BBQ restaurant and was taken to a booth. He sat down and looked over the menu as a scent entered the building that he had only caught once. "She here?" Naruto looked to the entrance and smiled. "Kin." The girl looked to him and waved, her leaf headband around her forehead. She walked over to the booth Naruto was in and smiled. "Can I join you?" Naruto nodded and smiled under his mask. Kin sat down across from him and took a menu from a waiter. "So, how have you been? I looked for you the other day, but you weren't where you said you would be." Naruto chuckled. "Well, I was training with my new sensei. I see you figured out the riddle." Kin nodded and fought down a blush, seeing Naruto was only in his muscle shirt, mask, pants and boots. "Yeah, it wasn't that hard when I spoke to the Hokage after we left the forest. I saw the four faces you were talking about and the Hokage told me those were the past cages of the village." Naruto nodded as the waiter came back. "Good evening. What can I get you today?" Naruto looked to the man. "I'll have BBQ steak, rice and some tea." The waiter nodded as Kin asked for the same. "Very well, I will be back with your drinks shortly." Naruto and Kin nodded. "So, how do you like this hellhole?" Naruto asked as Kin crossed her arms. "Well, seeing as how all the genin knew I was a sound ninja, they've been asking what a sound ninja is doing with this." Kin pointed to her forehead protector as Naruto growled. "Figures. The villagers know about Orochimaru being the Otakage already, so you must have been getting a lot of flack, right?" Kin nodded as the waiter came back and placed their drinks on the table. "Yeah. I can't even get into the damn shinobi store to get supplies. I have to have Yamato-sensei go with me." "Yamato? Who's that?" Kin smirked as she held up a seed and pushed chakra into it, the seed grew into a rose, and she placed it on the table. "Yamato is the only other person in the village that can use the wood bloodline. He taught me the basics in the wood clone." Naruto smirked. "Can I see a couple of those seeds? I want to see something." Kin nodded and gave him 3 seeds. Naruto concentrated chakra into one of them and it grew into a rose, making Kin gape at the boy. "Thought so. So the cards were telling the truth." Naruto smirked at the girl's surprised look. "I get it from Kyuubi. I can also use ice, earth, wind, water, fire and lightning." Kin just sat slack-jawed at the boy before she shook her head. "Maybe you and I can train once in a while. I found out I have an affinity to wind, earth and water." Naruto smiled and nodded. Their food came and Naruto placed it on the grill as the two continued to talk. "So, who's teaching you now?" Kin watched the boy sigh. "I got a self-proclaimed super pervert as a sensei. I think Kami has it out for me. Every teacher I've had is a pervert. His name is Jiraiya of the Sannin." Kin gasped. "You have a Sannin teaching you? That's awesome." Naruto smirked. "Should have seen the first day I met him. He got his ass handed to him by 3 kunoichi because he was peeking in on the women's half of the bathhouse." Kin giggled as Naruto smirked wider. "And I was the cause he got caught. I used a jutsu of mine to let the kunoichi know about him." Kin looked at him with a raised brow. "What jutsu?" Naruto scratched the back of his head and smiled. "It's a jutsu I created called Sexy Jutsu. It basically is a henge of a naked female version of someone. I made it to get away from perverts, but mainly to use it to get some necessities. I used the clothed version for that." Kin blushed as Naruto told about the jutsu. "Sorry if it offends you." Kin sighed. "Oh well, nothing I can do about it." Naruto chuckled. "I even made an upgrade to it called Harem Jutsu. It uses the Shadow Clone Jutsu and my Sexy Jutsu. I had to use it on a closet pervert in order to show a friend of mine that there is no shortcut to Hokage." Kin's eye twitched. "Okay, didn't need to know that." Naruto laughed a bit. "Sorry Kin. Didn't mean to make you mad." Naruto finished off his steak and replaced his mask. "So, what do you have planned for the rest of the night?" Kin sighed. "I have to go back to the Sarutobi compound. I'm staying there until the Hokage can find a place for me to stay." Naruto smirked. "Well, there's plenty of room at my clan house. I'm the only one who lives there anyway. Want to move in? It's quiet." Kin fought down a blush and nodded. "I'll think about it." "So, what are your plans if you make Chunin?" Naruto sighed and glared out the window of their booth. "I'm going to ask to join the Hunter Ninja Squad and leave the village. I'm tired of all the damn people thinking I'm Tusan when he's not at fault for the attack." You mean Kyuubi? Naruto nodded as he turned back to Kin. Well, I guess I better go. The pervert expects me to be at the training grounds at 6, so I need to head out. Kin nodded as the two stood and Naruto paid for their meal. I'll walk you home. Kin nodded and smiled as the two walked towards the clan section of Konoha. So, have you met Konohamaru? Kin groaned and nodded. The brat won't shut up about you. He keeps going on about how great you are. Naruto laughed as he pulled out a flower seed he didn't use. Yeah, that rat never shuts up. Naruto made a rose sprout and stopped in front of the Sarutobi compound. Well, I'll see you later. Kin turned to him and nodded before feeling something being put in her hair. See ya. Naruto vanished as Kin reached up to feel the petals of the rose and blushed. Does he like me or something? Kin smiled shyly as she walked into the compound. Maybe moving to his place wouldn't be so bad. Naruto closed the door to his compound and sighed. Why in the world did I suggest that? Basic kid, you like her. You made a rose and put it in her hair for crying out loud, Naruto sighed as he walked into his room. So what if I do? I'm half demon, soon to be full demon once I absorb enough of your chakra to fully release the seal and let you free. She won't like me when she finds out. Kid, you need to learn to not look at the bad things and look to the good things. I mean, come on. She knows about you holding me and she doesn't hate you. Tell her about it when you see her next time. If she hates you, I'll teach you a kinjutsu. If she doesn't, I'll teach you both how to use your water and ice affinities to the max, Naruto growled but nodded. Bribing me with jutsus. That's below the belt. Fine, next time, I'll tell her. Naruto walked into the bathroom and took his shower. Day before the exam finals. Naruto walked into the Hokage tower in full gear. He walked into the Hokage's office and saw Kin and the Hokage waiting for him, along with Jiraiya, Kurenai and Yamato. Yo. Naruto, you're late. Don't tell me Kakashi's rubbing off on you. Sorry, I had to help an old lady across the street when a bunch of dogs started chasing a cat. The Hokage slammed his head onto his desk, muttering curses at Kakashi. Anyway, I asked you to come because Kin has told me you offered to let her stay at your clan house. Yes, I did. What of it? Naruto asked as he grinned under his mask. Only asking because she has agreed to move in. Now, I have some of my own questions. Like what happened to you during your fight with Kiba? How did you get so tall and how were you able to enter the women's bathhouse without getting beaten to death like my student? Naruto chuckled as Yamato shook his head and the two girls get a twitch in their eyes. Well, ever since I was put in his class after failing for the second time thanks to that damned clone jutsu test, he's always made fun of me because of my inability to use the clone jutsu, do a proper henge, and the fact that everyone's parents told them to stay away from me and their hate brushed off on them because of Toussaint. So I decided to show him who the real dope is and if hate hadn't stopped me I would have killed him. I've taken enough of his abuse. Now, as for how I changed, Toussaint made the changes to my body after I tore the seal in half, making me a half demon. This made the Hokage about to yell out, but Jiraiya stopped. I'll explain later. Now, for the last question, Iro-san over here decided to peek in the bathhouse, so I used my sexy jutsu to tell Kurenai, Anko and Yugao about him. I had to hide in the women's bathhouse one day from a mob and ran into Yugao. I told her about the mob and she let me stay as long as I stayed in my henge. After that, every time I went to the hot springs, I was able to hide in my henge since the Kunoichi knew me for me and not Toussaint. I also told Yugao about Itachi peeking on her one day and that allowed me to forever hide in what you would call a pervert's paradise. Naruto smirked under his mask as the Hokage and Jiraiya gaped at the boy while Kin and Kurenai were red from embarrassment and Yamato, glad for his mask, had a nosebleed. I think I'm going to list that jutsu as a kinjutsu. That includes its upgraded version you used on Ibisu. Naruto shrugged as he smiled. Oh well. It saved me so I'll use it when I see fit. Anyway, Yamato here has been told of your wood abilities and will be helping you with them. Naruto sighed and nodded. Fine, old man. Kin, do you need help with your things? Kin shook her head and Naruto nodded. Alright, then, I'll see you later then. Naruto exploded into smoke, making the Hokage groan. Damn you Kakashi. Kin giggled as Jiraiya and Yamato shook their heads. Somewhere outside Konoha. Achoo. Kakashi sneezed and shook his head. Someone must be talking about me. Konoha. Naruto sighed as he relaxed in the hot springs at his house. He was sure Sarutobi was pissed at him and he smirked, baring his fangs. He heard the doorbell ring and sighed. Looks like she's here. Naruto got out of the springs and got dressed. He headed to the front door and smirked as he opened it to see Kin. Yo. Hey, so, what did you do to piss the Hokage off? Naruto chuckled and let the girl in. I sent a shadow clone instead of going myself. I wanted to use this day to relax before the exam. I have the first match from what Kakashi told me. Kin nodded as Naruto gave a toothy grin. So, got everything. Kin nodded as Naruto motioned for her to follow him. I'll show you to where you can choose your room. After that, I'll take you on a tour. Kin nodded and Naruto led her to the second floor. Take your pick, my room is the next floor. I mean it is literally the next floor. Kin nodded and took a room near the stairwell. Well, how about that tour? Kin nodded and Naruto led her throughout the house. She let out a squeal when she found the indoor hot springs, making Naruto chuckle and smile. He showed her the jutsu library and the backyard training grounds. Wow. Naruto, this place is awesome. Naruto nodded. Yeah, I think it's alright, but I think it'd make a good bonfire. But that's just me. Kin face faulted at the comment as Naruto laughed. It's alright, I'm going to leave here one day anyway. Maybe I'll leave it to you. Naruto missed the faint blush on the girl's cheeks as he turned to walk back into the house. I'll be in the kitchen cooking dinner. Do what you wish. Naruto threw a smile over his shoulder as Kin nodded and vanished into the house while Kin went to unpack. I wonder if he knows about Orochimaru attacking during the exams, Kin sighed as she put her clothes into the dresser. A knock at her door made her jump. Doors open. Naruto walked in and smiled. Dinner's almost ready. I have a clone watching over everything. So, want some help? Kin smiled and nodded. Naruto picked up a sealing scroll and unsealed the first item, a sword. Learning to use a sword. Kin nodded as Naruto drew the sword from its sheath and smirked. Nice blade. Very sharp and from the look of it, perfect balance. Naruto sheathed the sword and put it on top of the dresser. Kin, how do you feel about demons and half-demons? Kin looked at the boy confused. Well, I don't really know what to think. I've heard of many types of demons, good and bad, but I never thought much of the subject. Naruto nodded as he unsealed a kunai holster and placed it next to the sword. What would you do if I said I was going to become a full demon within a couple of years? Kin shrugged. Don't know. You haven't done anything to make me hate you or such, so I don't know. Naruto smiled sadly. Would you like to see what I would look like when I become one? Kin smiled to the boy. Sure. Naruto nodded and stepped back, forming the tiger seal. Henge. Naruto became covered in smoke, and when it cleared, Kin's face went red with a blush. Naruto's hair had lengthened to his shoulders and had red fox ears on his head. 9 crimson-tipped blonde tails danced behind him, and his body was that of a god. The fat around his face completely gone, giving him a mature look, and his six-pack showed through his skin-tight shirt. Kin jumped Naruto with a girlish squeal. Kai. Naruto chuckled as Kin tackled him to the ground and started to play with his ears, earning purring sounds from him. Naruto, you look so cute. And hot. Naruto blushed as in his head, Kyuubi was rolling around in his cage, laughing his ass off completely. Kin giggled as she listened to Naruto purr and lean into her touch. His tails twitched happily as Kin played with the boy's ears. Enjoying yourself, kid? Just think of waking up to this every morning, Naruto growled out with his eyes closed, leaning into the girl's touch, ending up rolling her over and his head onto her lap. Kin smiled at the peaceful look on Naruto's face. Naruto opened an eye and looked up to Kin, seeing the smile. That feels good. Kin blushed and continued to rub his ears. You just look so cute with these ears and the tail. Well, when I become a full demon, I'll be able to turn into a 9-tailed fox as well. Kin let the image of Naruto in his fox form enter her mind and squealed again. You know, you remind me of when those fangirls Sasuke has whenever he gave off a smirk in class or something. Kin frowned and stopped. So you're calling me a fangirl? Naruto shook his head. No, I'm not, I'm only saying your squeals remind me of them. I'm sorry if I offended you. Kin smirked as she started to scratch behind his ears. Damn, that feels good. Naruto purred as his tails flicked repeatedly. Good boy. Naruto opened an eye and frowned. I'm not a dog. Kin frowned. Would you rather I stop? Naruto shook his head, making the girl smirk. Then don't complain. Naruto nodded as she continued her scratching. When Kin suddenly stopped, Naruto groaned. Would you stop? Kin's stomach growling and blush was his answer. Oh yeah, dinner. Naruto got up and dispelled the henge, much to Kin's displeasure, and started to head out of the room. Let's go eat. Right. Kin followed Naruto to the kitchen to see the food already laid out and sat down across from him. Kin was amazed the boy could cook so well, hearing from several people all he knew how to make was instant ramen. Naruto smirked as he watched the girl eat and pulled out a seed from his pocket unnoticed. After they finished their meal, Naruto summoned 2 clones and sent them to do the dishes as Kin walked into the living room. Naruto headed for the back door and called to her over his shoulder. I'll be right back. Kin nodded as Naruto left the room and came back 10 minutes later. He walked up and smiled. I got something to show you. Kin nodded as Naruto led her out to the forest in the back of the compound. Naruto led the girl to a clearing and stopped before they entered the clearing. Close your eyes. Kin gave a confused look but nodded. Naruto took her hand in his and led her into the middle of the clearing and went behind her. Alright, you can open them. Kin opened her eyes to see the entire clearing with large sakura trees in full bloom. Kin put a hand to her mouth and turned to Naruto. It's beautiful. But why show me? Naruto smiled to her and placed a sakura flower in her hair. Because, I wanted to know what you think of this. Naruto saw her blush as she felt the petals of the flower in her hair. You know, you are the first person to not care about Kyuubi being sealed in me. Hell, you're the first person my age to even know about it and not hate me. Kin blushed and Naruto smiled. That blush looks nice there. Naruto teased her, making her glow red. I still don't even get why you helped me when I was poison. You could have killed me if you wanted to for what my old team did to your friends. Naruto frowned and lifted her chin. I don't know either. I wanted to bathe my sword in someone's blood and I came across you. I don't know why I helped you. I didn't even know you, but something told me to help you. So, I did. I helped you and while you cried, whimpered and showed all the other signs of nightmares. I had to hold you down since you were almost tossing and turning. Kin averted her gaze from his eyes. You helped a failed experiment of your enemy. You had the chance to kill me, but you didn't. Naruto frowned as she stepped away and looked back to his face. You could have done anything you wanted and gotten away with it, but you helped me instead. Naruto saw tears start to flow as Kin sadly smiled. I don't even know why I accepted to move in here, but I feel comfortable around you. I feel safe. Naruto pulled Kin into a warm embrace and let the girl wrap her arms around his waist. I don't know why I asked you to. When I first met you I felt a strong pull when I left. It was like my heart was telling me to go back and talk to you some more. I was afraid to be around anyone since I was 4 because of all the beatings I got from the villagers. That's why I want to leave the village. But when I asked you about moving here, it felt great to know you accepted. I feel I can do anything. Naruto ran a hand through her black hair as she buried her face into his chest. You are the first person I felt this way around. Kin looked up and blushed at Naruto's smile. Maybe living here won't be so bad after all. Kin smiled as Naruto chuckled. Well, let's go get some sleep. I've got a fight tomorrow. Kin frowned. Orochimaru plans to attack tomorrow you know. Naruto frowned and Kin looked to the ground. I'm pretty sure he plans to try and destroy Konoha using Gaara as his main tool. Gaara is the Jinchuriki of Shukaku, the one-tailed Tenkuni. Naruto growled and heard Kyuubi roar in his cage. Dusan's not very happy with that. Kin looked down as Naruto caught her downcast look. Naruto lifted her face to meet his and brushed a strand of hair out of her face. He's not angry at you, Kin-chan. He's angry that Orochimaru would use his friend for his own gain. I have to stop Gaara, but I will leave this village as well. This would be the perfect opportunity to vanish off the face of the Konoha's radar. With Sarutobi dead, the council will no doubt try to get rid of me or use me for their own gain. I know that's hit target. Let me come with you. Kin slapped her hands over her mouth as Naruto looked at her with a smile. He gently pulled her hands away and held them in his clawed hands. If that is what you want, but why would you travel with a demon? Kin blushed as she looked away, muttering something. What? I said because I want to find out why I feel this way about you. Naruto blushed and watched her look away again. Then it settled. Pack your things, we leave when the invasion starts. Kin turned her head back to Naruto, seeing a kind smile. Kin hugged the half-demon and smiled. Thank you, Naruto-kun. Naruto wrapped his arms around her waist and buried his face in her hair, smelling her vanilla scent again. You're welcome, Kin-chan. Besides, this would be the perfect chance to learn more about you and you about me. Kin nodded against his chest as Naruto pulled away. Let's go get packed. We'll head for Wave Country after I deal with Gaara. Kin nodded as they headed back for the house, hand in hand. Kyuubi smirked as he watched the two from Naruto's cage. Kushina, Minato, you would be proud of him. It seems I was right in telling him to help her. I think he's found his mate. Kyuubi yawned and fell asleep. Maybe as a gift, I'll give Kin the ability to pass on those bloodlines and use all of them. Now all I have to do is keep him in Konoha. Junin exam finals. The Hokage scanned the arena, looking for Naruto and Sasuke, who had yet to show up. Where are you, Naruto? Hello, Hokage Dono. The Kazekage walked into the booth as the Hokage nodded to him. Hello, Kazekage Dono. I hope your trip was a safe one. The Kazekage nodded. Jiraiya walked up to the Hokage and tapped him on the shoulder. Sensei, look. Jiraiya pointed to a forming mist. Arena, few minutes prior. Genma, a senbon chewing Jonin looked at the present Genin and frowned. Where's Uzumaki? Hayate wouldn't stop talking about the brat, so where is he? I want to see what made Hayate want to take him as an apprentice. Too bad he's in the hospital. Seems the dope isn't showing up. Niji stated as Shikamaru looked at him with an annoyed look. Whatever. Hey, what's with the mist? Shika pointed to a cloud of mist that started to roll in and they all heard a cold voice. 8 points. Larynx, spine, lungs, liver, jugular vein, collarbone, kidneys, heart. All vital points that can cause a quick death. A shadow appeared in the mist and started to walk out. Too bad the match hasn't started though. Naruto emerged from the mist and smirked at the look of the genin feeling his kai. Ah, the little genin can't even handle a small amount of kai. Naruto walked up and stopped his kai. Well, when do we start? Genma smirked as Shika muttered troublesome under his breath. So, there you are Naruto, the Hokage smiled as Jiraiya smirked. Nice entrance Gaki. In the stands, Kin walked in and sat down next to Sakura, making the girl raise a brow to her. Why the hell are you here? Kin narrowed her eyes at the girl. I'm here to watch the matches, Pinky. Got a problem with that? Sakura growled as Ino shook her head. Forehead, shut up and watch. Your teammate is about to fight. Sakura turned back to the arena as all the finalists except Naruto and Neji left. So, that's the brat hate was going on about. He sure does know how to make an entrance, but can he show us a good reason to promote him? Izumo nodded to his friend as Genma looked between the two. The matches will be the same as in the preliminaries. You will fight until one of you gives up, dies, knocked out or I deem the fight over. Got it. The two nodded as Genma rose his hand. Begin. Genma dropped his hand and jumped away as Naruto stood his ground. Watch closely, Hanabi. Neji is the strongest Hyuga to ever come out of the branch family. His Byakugan surpasses that of your own. Even your sister is no match for his Byakugan. Hanabi nodded as her father watched the match. You look like you want to say something. Neji stated as Naruto smirked under his mask. Yeah I do. Naruto says boom. Neji activated his Byakugan as the clone started to glow. Neji went wide-eyed and jumped away as the clone before him exploded. Genma covered his face from the flying debris and looked around for Naruto. Boo. Neji jumped at the voice behind him and lunged to the side to avoid Kubikiri cleaving him in two. Damn, I missed. Naruto smirked under his blood-red face mask. Neji entered his family taijutsu stance as Naruto lifted his Zanbatsu over his shoulder. You look like you want to say something, emo freak. Neji glared at the blonde. You're fated to lose to me, dope. Up in the stands, Kin flinched as she felt a small chakra spike. That was the wrong thing to say. Kiba clenched his healed chest and nodded. Well, now that you just sealed your fate, any last words that really matter? Naruto closed his eyes and snapped them open, showing the Sharingan. Neji scoffed as he ran at Naruto. You will lose. Naruto strapped his sword to his back and copied Neji's rush. Naruto countered Neji's left palm strike with his own and then countered a right. What are you doing? Naruto smirked as he caught Neji's left hand, threw him back with a punch in the face. Neji rushed and Naruto followed. Copycat. Naruto blocked another palm thrust and continued to copy Neji's movements. Stop copying me. The two yelled in perfect unison as the proctors smirked. The kid pulled a Kakashi. The Hokage slapped his face. Why did I have to put Naruto with Kakashi again? Naruto followed Neji's movements until Neji jumped back, him following. You're nothing but a copycat. You have nothing but that Sharingan going for you. Naruto glared as his anger rose but then smirked. Then I guess I better remedy that. Naruto held out his hand as an orb formed in the palm. Behold. Naruto jumped into the air as he started to do one-handed seals. Uzumaki High Jutsu. Rasengan. Naruto grabbed his wrist as lightning started to form around his palm and the Rasengan. Jiraiya, you taught him the Rasengan. Sarutobi looked on in shock as Jiraiya pointed to his student slack-jawed. Yeah but I left him on stage 2. I never taught him the final stage or the Rikiri. Sarutobi watched as Naruto start to fall to the ground with the combined jutsu. Oh this. Naruto smashed the Rasengan where Neji was once standing, creating a crater and sending an electric current through the ground. Darn, I missed again. Naruto smirked as he stood and flashed his Manjikyu at the lightning shocked Neji. Ah, shocking, isn't it? Naruto chuckled as the proctors gaped at the size of the crater and Genma stood on the branch of a tree. God damn, Naruto. Genma shouted as Naruto pointed his index and middle finger at Neji with his right hand, thumb up making it look like a gun. Amaterasu. Black flames shot from his hand and hit the area and Neji jumped from once again. Run little boy. I have the chakra stores of 3 Hokages and the stamina of Kyuubi himself. I could go all day and night long. Whether the sexual innuendo was intended or not, Kin blushed as a certain Hyuga blushed and passed out while a snake Jonin smirked. The kid has class. Kurenai shook her head at her friend. Naruto started to slowly walk towards the genin. What? You got something else to say? You can't deny fate. Everyone is born with a different fate and you are no different. We only share one fate. Naruto scoffed as Neji took off his headgear, showing his seal. Wow seal. Hey looky here. Naruto unzipped his vest and lifted his shirt, showing a battered seal. You're not the only one, jackass. Naruto replaced his clothing as Neji scoffed. IKNEW3 I forgot something. My armor. You don't have to live with the threat of having it used against you every second of your entire life. Let me tell you about the feud behind this seal. Naruto groaned as he stabbed Kubikiri into the ground and leaned against it. This isn't going to be one of those emo bastard stories that'll make you seem like Sasuke. Neji glared. The Hyuga clan is the strongest clan in Konoha. The Uchiha has nothing on us. Yep, I was right, you guys are power-hungry fools, both the Hyuga and Uchiha. Well, maybe except Itachi. He's probably the only one that knows better. Naruto smirked at the glare Neji sent him. Aw, did I hurt the emo Hyuga's feelings? Tell you what, I'll send you into the stands to let Hiashi change your diapers and then you can change his. Naruto grinned as he felt Tukai aimed at him, while a few laughs were heard from the stands. Hey everyone, look at me. I'm Hiashi Hyuga and I'm emo because power only matters and my eldest daughter doesn't exist to me because she's so weak. Naruto used a hinge to change into Hiashi, making the laughing stop. Neji, you are not worthy to bear the Hyuga name. Naruto smirked and turned back into himself before jumping back to dodge a kick. Hey everyone, I'm Neji and I'm an emo that likes to beat my cousin to a near-death state and she happens to be a girl. That sent a shockwave through the entire stadium. Naruto hinged into a beaten Hinata. WWY Neji Nai-san. Neji growled and rushed Naruto. While in the stands, Hiashi Hyuga was clenching his fist so hard he was drawing blood. That kid has a large set of brass balls to not only insult the Hyuga but copy their taijutsu style. The women around Asuma blushed as Kurenai smacked the Jonin upside his head while Kin blushed to a dark red. Yeah, but now he's going to be on the Hyuga hit list. Kiba smirked as Anko shook her head. Yeah, but he's doing something that will be sure to make him chunin. Everyone looked to her and gulped at the deadly grin on her face. He's using his enemy's anger against him. Kurenai nodded as everyone turned to the match to see Neji in a strange stance while Naruto copied it. That damn demon. How dare he tear at my good name. Bullshit. Hiashi was getting glares from lots of people, mostly women, and glared down at Naruto. He dare copy the gentle fist. I will have his head for this. 8 trigram 64 palm. The two called out as the Hinata hinged. Naruto rushed when Neji rushed. 2 palm. Naruto countered the 2 strikes. 4 palm. 8 palm. Naruto continuously blocked the strikes. 16 palm. 32 palm. Naruto smirked as Neji growled. 64 palm. Naruto countered all the strikes and grabbed Neji's hand on the final strike. Too slow. Naruto kicked the boy away and lifted his sword back onto his back after dispelling the hinge. What you need to learn, emo team, is that no one controls our fate. We choose our own fate. You decided to choose the path where you listen to your emo ass uncle and obey orders. I choose my own path and I forge my own fate. I fight till I die. I live for what I believe in. Naruto walked forward and picked Neji up by the throat. You are right about one thing about you humans though. You all share death. Old age, poison, virus and combat. That is the only fate you all share. Naruto activated his Manjikyu and looked into Neji's eyes. Do you see these eyes, Neji? Let them show you what it means to truly bear a cursed seal. Tsukiyomi. Everyone in the stadium went silent as the Hokage, medics and Jiraiya jumped down into the arena. Neji, you will live my worst memory for a day. You will live the very memory that made me turn out to wish for freedom of this village. See if you like being what I am. The outcast of the village. A Jinchuriki. Neji went wide-eyed as he felt his body running from something. He turned his head to look behind him to see a mob of ninja and villagers, the ninja wearing leaf headbands. Neji turned the corner to meet a dead end. He turned to go back the way he came, but the mob had blocked it off. A member of the mob walked up and kicked him into the wall. Damn demon. We'll teach you to interrupt our festival with your presence. We'll finish what the Yondames started. The crowd gave a yell of agreement as they started to stab and beat the boy with a variety of objects. From kunai to stones, they beat him till they all lost interest. All but one left the fallen and bleeding boy. The man left picked the boy up and smirked. He jumped to the roofs and took off to the abandoned section of Konoha. I'm gonna have fun with you, brat. The man tore away the boy's clothes and undid his own pants. Damn demon. Neji yelled out in pain the entire time the Chunin raped him and cut him with kunai the entire time. Once everything stopped, Neji turned to normal and dropped to his knees. You're not done yet, Neji. 23 hours, 59 minutes and 59 seconds remaining. Neji went wide-eyed with fear as the memories started up again and again. Naruto threw the boy to the ground and started to walk to the center of the ring. The Hokage and the medics checked after the Hyuga as Jiraiya walked up to his student. Konoha. Lords and visiting villages. I will no longer tolerate what I have been through. I am Naruto no Kyuubi. Adopted son of the Kyuubi no Kitsune and his heir. If you think I will sit back and take any more beatings like I have in the past, Konoha, be ready to forfeit your life. Naruto yelled out to the stadium as he vanished in an explosion of water. Jiraiya frowned as the medics took Neji to the infirmary. Water clone. Damn Naruto, what has this village done to you while I was gone for the past 12 years? The Hokage nodded to Genma as he and Jiraiya vanished. Winner of the first match, Genma sighed and yelled out, Naruto no Kyuubi. The stadium remained quiet until the Kazekage stood and started clapping, starting a chain reaction that went throughout the stadium. I made a mistake in crossing Kyuubi. Damn, Orochimaru sighed and smiled. The Hokage took his seat and motioned for Raito to come to him. Find out where Naruto is and what the proctors have to say. Raito nodded and vanished using the body flicker. Damn, Naruto was pissed. But he showed good qualities, all of which were needed to be Chunin. Tell the Hokage Naruto has my backing for Chunin. Katetsu smirked as Raito, who had arrived to ask his fellow Jonin about Naruto, nodded. Same here. The brat has balls of diamonds to put a dent that huge in the Hyuga pride. Izumo added as the Jonin took off. Kin got up and ran off following the chakra signature that was familiar to her with misty eyes. Naruto-kun. Hokage Dono, before you do, please, don't disqualify Sasuke. I wish to see him fight Gaara. Even if you take him off for Chunin, allow all the lords to see the event they all came for. Although, I highly doubt that Sasuke and Gaara's match will compare to Naruto's. Sarutobi sighed and nodded. Hokage-san. The old man turned to the stairway to see the Lord of Fire, Wind and Waves standing there with displeased looks. I'm in deep shit. Jiraiya sighed and walked to the edge of the booth. We will be taking a short break before the next match. The next match will be consisting of Shino Aburam and Kankuro of the desert. Sasuke Uchiha and Gaara of the desert's match will be held last. Please take this time to do whatever it is you wish. Please be back within a half hour. Genma nodded from where he was standing and looked around the arena. Can we get some repairs done here, and is the ground still shocked or no? Genma got sweat drops from a few Jonin that jumped out to the arena. Genma, get down. It's safe. Genma nodded and chuckled. Sorry, I have a fear of lightning. Especially to the voltage Naruto had it up to. The Jonin shook their heads and started to fix what they could. Kin ran towards the signature she felt Naruto was coming from and entered the locker room. Naruto looked up with sad eyes as Kin jumped him and cried onto his shoulder. Naruto-kun. Naruto sighed as he wrapped his arms around the girl. I'm okay, Kin. I'm okay. Naruto rubbed her back as she cried into his shoulder. Naruto started to hum a song that seemed to help calm her down and smiled to her. I'm fine. Was it really that bad for you? Naruto sighed and nodded. Yes, it was. It almost drove me insane until Toussaint was awakened and helped me through it. He taught me everything he could on stealth and stealing. I had to steal to get an actual meal, hide to avoid mobs, which thankfully worked once I became a master of the art of demon fox stealth at the age of 6. I was never caught after that, but it was when they cornered me that I had the most trouble, since I didn't know how to fight. Kin buried her face in his shoulder and held him close. Naruto, Kin. Naruto looked up to see Asuma at the door of the locker room. You do know that this is the men's locker room, right, Kin? Kin nodded as Naruto sighed. What is it, Asuma? The chain-smoking Jonin entered the room and held out his hand. I was sitting next to a few of the proctors for the exam and they were impressed, kid. You have a guaranteed position among Chunin. I also wanted to shake the hand of someone who had the balls to knock the Hyuga clan down a few pegs. Naruto grinned and shook Asuma's hand before the man turned to leave. By the way, Dad's in deep shit. The Lords of Fire, Wave and Wind are talking to him right now. Naruto sighed as he stood from the bench after Kin got off his lap. Oh well. I can't do anything about it. Asuma nodded. I know, but I will say this, the Kazekage was the first to clap after the fight and he's a hard man to impress. That was the best fight I have ever seen. Naruto nodded as the Jonin left the room and Naruto turned to Kin. Well, I better get out there. We got to be ready to leave when the attack happens. Kin nodded and just as Naruto was about to turn away, she grabbed the front of his vest and brought his lips to hers. Naruto smirked into the kiss as he wrapped his arms around the girl's waist and she wrapped her arms around his neck. Kin pulled away and smiled as Naruto brought her close and buried his face in her hair. Hokage. Sarutobi, I demand to know what the boy was talking about when he said he wouldn't tolerate any more beatings. The Fire Lord all but shouted as the Lord of Wave growled out. That boy saved my country from Gatu, and this is how he is treated here. If I had a shinobi village, I would be demanding a transfer for him to go there. This is unacceptable, Hokage-san. I demand the same answers. Wind nodded as Sarutobi sighed. I first would like to apologize for all this, lords. You see, after the 4th Hokage sealed the Kyuubi, I made a law stating the true knowledge of the Kyuubi attack shall never be spoken of to the younger generation. The village council, except the Aburam, Nara and Akimichi clans, called for his execution. I forbid it and called for a 24-hour Anbu guard for the boy. The only Anbu that would actually do their jobs are tiger, dog, cat, weasel and snake. They were the only Anbu to ever keep a sharp eye on the child. One day, a rude Anbu decided to take the job, and that led to one of the more deadlier beatings of Naruto. That day, a ninja by the name of Itachi Uchiha stopped the attack, which was led by a group of Uchiha. So, after an interrogation of one of the Uchiha, it was found out that Fugaku and his council of elders decided to order the death of the boy. So in return, I asked Itachi to execute his father and council. That led to the Uchiha massacre. Itachi was found out by his father, and his best friend was ordered to kill him. Itachi killed his best friend and clan on the same day. After that, I had gathered the council and established a new law: anyone involved in harming Naruto Uzumaki from that day forward will be executed without question. This lowered his beatings to almost never. But I was too late, it seems, to stop any damage from happening. The lords didn't look happy as Raito entered the room. He bowed the second he saw the lords of fire, wind and wave. "Oh, forgive me, Hokage-sama, lords. I'm sorry for interrupting." The fire lord waved it off. "You're fine, Jonin. Do your duties and leave." Raito nodded and looked to the Hokage. "Hokage-sama, Naruto was found to be in the locker room. It seems Asuma found him after following the new genin you allowed to join our village. Also, reports from the proctors are that Naruto Uzumaki has all their backings for Chunin for, and I quote, showing Chunin qualities and putting the Hyuga clan down a few pegs. I would say the true quote, but it is inappropriate." The Hokage laughed. "Thank you, Raito. You may return to the cage booth. Wait, Jonin. Get me a Chunin vest. I believe my fellow lords will agree with where this is going." Wind and Wave smirked and nodded. "Aye, a fine boy he is, and what a fight he gave us. Plus, he did save my country, so he has my support. I do not know the boy myself, but with the rumors I heard from Wave and others, along with the skills he has shown, he has the support of the wind." The Hokage nodded as the Jonin bowed and left the office. "Hokage, I wish to make an announcement." The Hokage nodded, and the lords filed out of the room as the Hokage sighed and slumped in his seat. Naruto made Chunin. This will be the first time in years that an immediate promotion will be carried out. The last time was with Minato. The Hokage chuckled as he got up from his seat and made his way back to the booth. "Take that, you old bastards," the Hokage thought at the council as he came across an angry Hiashi Hyuga. "What Hiashi? I demand that boy's head. He insulted not only me but the entire Hyuga clan by copying our gentle fist. Well, if all goes according to what I think is going to happen, you will have to go through the Fire Lord before you have the approval to do anything to Naruto." The Hokage passed the Hyuga head and walked back to the booth. "Welcome back, Hokage Dono. I hope the lords weren't too harsh on you." The Hokage waved it off as the Hokage walked to the edge. "Naruto no Kyuubi. Come to the center of the arena by order of the lords of wind, fire and wave." "What would the lords want with me?" Naruto asked as Kin shrugged. Naruto placed a kiss on the girl's cheek before pulling his mask up and jumping down to the arena floor, landing on all fours. He walked to the center of the ring as three people came walking from another entrance. Naruto recognized one as the Fire Lord and bowed to the three lords. "Rise, Naruto no Kyuubi." Naruto stood up straight as Raito appeared behind the lords. "Ikyu-sama, here is the vest you asked for." The Fire Lord nodded as he took the vest and called out. "Naruto no Kyuubi, from the reports of Raito, you are found to have the backing of all the Chunin exam proctors and the lords of Wind Country, Wave Country and Fire Country. We have also taken into account your deeds in Wave Country against the tyrant Gatu. Therefore, you are disqualified from the Chunin exams." This made Naruto go wide-eyed as the Fire Lord took the vest he was wearing off. "But you are promoted with the support of the lords of wind, wave and fire to Chunin status. Starting the moment I finish what I have to say." The Fire Lord pulled the Chunin vest on the boy and zipped it to mid-level. "Naruto no Kyuubi, you have not only the backing, but the protection of the Lord of Fire Country, Hikyu Satsuna. From this point on, carry yourself with pride and wear that vest as a Chunin should. With what the third Hokage once called the will of fire." Naruto smirked under his mask as he did the one thing that made the Hokage faint from shock. "Sir, yes sir." Naruto saluted to the Fire Lord and the Lord turned to the stadium. "Konoha. You are on thin ice. This boy, no, this man has my protection and with it, I give him the travel rights of a Sannin. He has the will of fire burning within him and let that be an example to all genin and future ninja." The Fire Lord turned back to Naruto and smiled. "If anything happens, do not be afraid to send word to me, Naruto. You are under my protection and I overrule the Hokage." Naruto nodded and gave the shinobi salute again. Dismissed. Hikyu, with a wave of his hand, allowed Naruto to vanish. "Let the Chunin exams continue and let us see others with the grace Naruto no Kyuubi has shown us." A roar of applause erupted from the stadium as Hiashi and several other council members looked on slack-jawed. "Yes, I definitely made a mistake crossing Kyuubi. I'm starting to think this would be a bad idea." Orochimaru inwardly sighed as he gazed to next to him to see the Hokage on the ground, out cold. "What's with him? Jiraiya laughed at the Hokage. That Gaki has never shown any respect to his superiors, from what he told me. This is a first for Naruto. Orochimaru made a mental note to laugh at this later as the Toad Sannin used smelling salt to wake the Hokage. Yosh. Naruto's flames of youth burned brighter than any of us. Lee, who had arrived during the break, yelled out as Guy smirked. You're right, Lee. His youth does burn brighter, even brighter than mine. Guy watched as the blonde Sand Genin flew down to the arena floor since her brother forfeited because of knowing when he's beaten. Shika muttered troublesome under his breath as Konkuro, just being an asshole, pushed the boy over the edge. Naruto. Naruto stood in the locker room once again, looking in the mirror wearing his new rank. I can't believe it. I'm actually a Chunin. By the grace of three lords no less. Naruto wiped his eyes of the oncoming tears as the door opened. He turned to see Anko, Kurenai, Iruka and Asuma. Iruka rushed past everyone and gathered Kid in a bear hug. Congratulations, Naruto. This is the first time that the Fire Lord has ever publicly promoted someone to Chunin during the exams since Minato was a Genin. Naruto returned the hug to his big brother figure and Anko smirked. You know, brat, you have got to have the biggest balls a man could have if you can put a giant dent in the Hyuga pride. For that, I'm taking you out for a celebration party after this attack is over with. Naruto smirked and nodded. Works for me. I just wish the damned council didn't pressure Kakashi-sensei into training only the damned Uchiha. He owes me a new jutsu now. Naruto gave an Anko-like grin, making the two guys pale. Oh god, we have another Anko. Iruka muttered as Anko laughed and put an arm around his shoulder. And what's wrong with that, Iruka-kun? Naruto chuckled and sniffed the air, catching a scent that made him smile. Come on in, Kin-chan. Kin walked in with a smile on her face and gave the new Chunin a hug, followed by a kiss on the lips after she pulled the mask down. Congrats, Naru-kun. Naruto smiled as Iruka smirked. So, finally gave up on Sakura, Naruto. Naruto chuckled. Hey, you know I had a mask to keep up. But yes, I'm done chasing the queen of all banshees. Everyone laughed as Asuma motioned everyone to follow him. Come on, everyone, we need to stay sharp. Naruto's face grew serious and nodded. I'll see you all in the stands in a few minutes. I need to talk to Kin-chan. All the seasoned ninja nodded and left the room. Kin, there has been a change of plans. We're not leaving Konoha. We're staying. Kin nodded as she leaned against Naruto. The two ninjas started to walk out and back to the stands. Congrats, Kit. Congrats. Kyuubi smiled at his adopted son. Thank you, Tusan. Naruto smiled as he walked out to see Shikamaru raise his hand, Temari following. I surrender. I can't continue. I'll only be able to hold this jutsu for 10 more seconds and I'm pressed for time on the rest of my strategies. Genma nodded. Winner of the third match. Temari of the desert. Naruto looked on as Gaara appeared in a swirl of sand. Sasuke Uchiha has 10 minutes before he as Genma was cut off by a swirl of leaves showing the arrival of Kakashi and Sasuke. Naruto shook his head and jumped down to meet with his Jonin sensei. Yo. Did we make it in time? Kakashi asked as Genma crossed his arms and twitched the senbon in his mouth. Just in time. You should be ashamed, Kakashi, you missed the greatest and funniest match in a long time. Just ask the new Chunin behind you. Kakashi turned to see Naruto walking up to him in his Chunin vest and dropped his book. Genma, if this is a Genjutsu, I am so kicking your ass. Genma let out an amused laugh. No, sensei, I am Chunin. The Fire Lord promoted me himself. Naruto stated as Kakashi checked his student over. Damned council. Making me train their damned Uchiha when a prodigy is right in front of me, Kakashi swore at the council as Naruto smirked at Sasuke. Better put up a good show, runt. After all, not every day you fight a Jinchuriki, right Gaara? Naruto smirked over his shoulder as Kakashi and Genma looked to the redhead with a curious look. You are also a Jinchuriki. So Niji was at a loss. Naruto smirked. Just remember this, Gaara no Shukaku. Kyuubi is pissed and I will carry out my 2 cents will. If Shukaku acts up in any way, I'll 5-pronged seal your ass. Naruto stated as he started to walk away when Sasuke smirked. Well, if the dope can make Chunin, I should be a given. Naruto's eyes flashed red as he turned and glared. The title of Chunin has to be earned, team. I earned it through hard work. Not by being pampered and spoiled by the council like your faggot ass. Naruto vanished in a swirl of leaves, appearing next to the Hokage. Gaara is the Jinchuriki for Shukaku. This may turn out to be bad. The Hokage nodded at Naruto's whispered words. If the Bijuuu acts up, I will send Jiraiya in to seal it. Naruto shook his head with a grin. I got it covered. I can do the pronged seals. Just like a certain someone next to you. Sarutobi nodded, not going to ask how. Naruto vanished again and walked up next to Kin, who was next to the Banshee twins. So, Naruto, I guess I owe you a new jutsu, right? Naruto nodded. Yep. Speaking of jutsus, see that crater there? Naruto pointed to the crater that was near Sasuke. Yeah, what of it? Naruto smirked as Asuma chuckled. Naruto did that with a combination of the Rasengan and Urakiri. Kakashi gaped and chuckled. Looks like you had a fun time. That was until Neji called Naruto kinda dope. Kin smirked and the Jonin nodded. Again. Genma jumped away as Gaara let out his sand. Sasuke smirked when he activated his Sharingan and threw 2 shuriken at the sand user. Gaara's sand shot up and caught the 2 flying objects while turning into a sand clone. Sasuke dodged as the clone threw them back and ran with speed he never had a month ago. He's like that ugly guy. Gaara mused as his sand tried to keep up with the fast Sasuke. Hey Kakashi, guess what? Naruto mused as Sasuke kicked Gaara in the chin, sending him back a few feet. I pulled a you on the Hyuga. Kakashi chuckled as he looked around the stadium, spotting Anbu. Kakashi, that is Lee's taijutsu isn't? Guy asked as the Jonin sighed and nodded. Yes, I tried to teach him something else, but he kept telling me to train him in this. I spent the entire month trying to teach him other things, but all he wanted to learn was Lee's speed. I'm sorry Guy. The Jonin nodded. It's the council's fault, sensei, not yours. Anyway, if Sasuke gets out of hand, we can take care of him. Kakashi nodded. Sasuke was caught up in Gaara's sand and thrown back as a dome formed around him. Naruto, you're going to hate me for this, but Sasuke heard about when I used Rikiri on Zabuza and demanded me to teach him. He went to the council with that. Naruto growled. I only taught him one though. Sasuke tried to attack the dome, but every punch was ineffective and spikes came out of the side he attacked. Sasuke jumped back to the stadium wall and ran up it. After starting a line of seals, he grabbed his wrist and blue lightning started to cover his hand, the sound of chirping angry birds. So, that's why he wanted the training. He knew he needed the speed for it. Guy stated as Naruto glared down to the dome. I'll be back. Sensei, what exactly is it Sasuke learned? Guy glared to the Uchiha as he explained. Sasuke learned one of Kakashi's own jutsus. It's a very powerful contestant's booth. Naruto appeared in the contestant's booth. He walked up to Temari as she whispered to her brother. Gaara. It's too early. Early for what, Sand Ninja? The two jumped and everyone turned to him. Something about Shukaku no doubt. Hope you guys liked your cage because that one in the booth is a fake. I'd keep that black on. Now, explain. Temari cursed as she pointed down to her brother. Stance. Chidori. 1,000 birds. Guy announced as Sasuke drove his hand into the sand dome. Contestant's booth. He's turning into Shukaku's form. He's able to do that since he controls sand. Naruto went wide-eyed as a scream was heard from the arena and bolted to the edge. Blood. It's my blood. Naruto cursed as he watched Sasuke pull out his arm with a sandy claw following. Naruto jumped down into the arena as he started seals for the 5-pronged seal. Damn it. Stance. What is that boy doing? Ino yelled out as white feathers started to appear. All the Jonin caught on and dispelled the Genjutsu, along with a few of the Genin, Kin being one of them. All the Anbu started to move to the cage box as an explosion went off. Protect the lords and the Hokage. A white-cloaked Anbu called out as the sand Anbu jumped at them. Get out of my way. The Anbu captain cut down the 2 guards and managed to make it to Jiraiya's side as a cry of barrier seal was heard. So, you finally show yourself, Orochimaru. The fake Kazekage smirked and held a kunai up to the cage's neck while the tiger-masked Anbu captain and Jiraiya growled at the man. Sarutobi-sensei, glad to see you remember me. You too Jiraiya-kun, Yamato-kun. Damn you too. It was only supposed to be me and sensei. This complicates things. Yamato removed his mask and growled. I'll make you pay for turning Kin and I into this Orochimaru. Orochimaru looked confused as he plunged the kunai into his hand and walked away from the group a small distance as the Sandame took off his cloak to show his battle armor. So, Kin is still alive. How did you know about the experiments on her, Yamato-kun? Yamato smirked as a root shot up and plunged through the Sannin's stomach. Right there Orochi team. Orochimaru turned into mud and the real Orochimaru came out of the ground with a smirk. I see. So my experiments were both a success, I just never kept watch over them. Arena. Naruto ran at the deforming sand dome with his 5-pronged seal blazing on his fingertips. I warned you Gaara. Naruto was about to hit Gaara's stomach but jumped back when kunai rained down in his path. The sand team and sensei stood next to Gaara as Naruto was joined by Genma. Temari, Kankuro, take Gaara and regroup. He's of no use in that condition. The sand siblings nodded as Kankuro and Temari jumped off with Gaara over Kankuro's shoulder. Naruto, gather a team and head after them. This is your first A rank mission as a Chunin. Naruto nodded as he watched Sasuke about to run off. Sasuke, you better wait because I'm taking you as part of the team. Sasuke nodded as he glared at the Chunin. Naruto vanished and reappeared in the stands, slamming a kunai into a sound ninja's face. Sakura, wake up the lazy bum and come with me. Kakashi, can I get Pakin? Kin, head for the Hokage monument and help Iruka out. Kakashi nodded and summoned the dog as Sakura woke an actually sleeping Shika. Hey Kakashi. What's up? I need you to take Naruto after Gaara of the desert. Look for a Tankuni smell. Just as a sound Jonin was about to bring down a kunai on an unsuspecting Sakura, Guy rushed and slammed the man into the wall. Fast. Guy smirked at the choked words as he started to apply more pressure. And powerful. Naruto, take your team this way. This should make things a bit easier. Guy punched the Jonin through the wall, no doubt killing him, and Naruto called out to Sasuke. Sasuke. Let's go. Sasuke nodded as he took to the main entrance as Naruto and the team took the newly made hole by Guy. Damn you Naruto. How did you get so much power in just a month? Sasuke gritted his teeth as he took off after Team Sand, not even bothering to wait for his team. Naruto and his team jumped through the trees, Naruto sensing Sasuke already far ahead. Stupid fool. He's going to get himself killed. Sakura glared at the blonde. Don't talk about Sasuke-kun like that Naruto. You were only promoted because the Fire Lord showed pity to you. Naruto stopped in his tracks and Sakura found herself smashed against a tree with Sharingan eyes blazing in anger. Watch your tongue Genin. I outrank you and outpower you. My fight with Neji should have shown you that and my fight with Kiba. I could kill Sasuke in a moment's notice. Naruto let the girl go as Shika sighed with the dog. This will be reported to the Hokage so don't piss me off. Naruto and his team took off once again with Pakin in the lead. Naruto, we have a team on our tail. Naruto smirked as he stopped. I'll handle that. Naruto summoned a fox with 3 tails and black fur. Yes, Naruto-sama. We being chazed. Kill the ninja with a musical note headband that are coming. The fox nodded as it took off towards the tracking team and Naruto motioned for everyone to follow. Damari landed in a clearing with her brothers as Sasuke jumped down. Give up and maybe I can get you off the hook. Sasuke smirked to the girl as Kankuro growled. Amachiha. We're too exhausted to fight right now. Let me go. I'll handle him. Gaara's sand started to cover the boy and the 2 sand genin jumped off in fear of Shukaku. Sasuke Uchiha, I'll kill you. Sasuke scoffed as Gaara took the form of a mini Shukaku, making the boy a little unnerved. Sasuke. Naruto jumped into the clearing with Pakin and Sakura. Shikamaru had left to keep the trackers busy in case a few go by the fox. You idiot, you could have been killed. You lack what it takes to be a chunin. Sasuke growled as Gaara growled at the blonde. Naruto no Kyuubi. Naruto smirked as he jumped to dodge a sand claw that smacked Sakura into a tree and held her there. Damn. Oh well, as my sand holds her she will be crushed. Naruto growled as he watched Sasuke start the seals for Chidori only for Gaara to knock the boy into a tree and out cold. Geez, I was wondering when you were going to do that. Now, let's dance. Naruto vanished and kicked a surprised Gaara in the face. The Shukaku-looking boy growled as Naruto vanished again, this time sending Gaara into the trees. Gaara landed on a branch and paled. This guy is stronger than me. Gaara jumped away as a hail of kunai rained down on his branch. Gaara looked to see thousands of Narutos in the trees. Shuriken from all directions. All the Naruto pulled out handfuls of shuriken and threw them at Gaara. Gaara paled when he noticed the exploding tags. Boom. The stars exploded right in Gaara's face, sending sand everywhere. Gaara's sand fell all around him as Naruto rushed him with the pronged seal again. I have you now Shukaku. Naruto was about to hit the boy in the stomach when the sand shot up and stopped him, Gaara going through seals. Forced sleep jutsu. All the sand around Gaara started to move and cover the boy's body, forming an even larger tankuni. I'm free. Naruto cursed as he ran through seals. Summoning jutsu. Kyuubi no Kitsune. Naruto yelled out as the fox exploded into the mortal plane. Shukaku visibly went into shock as Kyuubi threw his head back and roared. Shukaku. You will stop this. This isn't like you. Kyuubi yelled out as Naruto took a deep breath. Kyuubi. What are you doing here? Kyuubi sighed as he batted away an air bullet. For 1, I am defending my son's home. 2, you were never like this so explain what happened. I demand you stop. Shukaku fired off air bullet after air bullet, trying to hit the king of demons. I will beat you Kyuubi. You don't control me. Naruto heard his 2-sen growl. But you will have to wake the boy up and put the seal on him. You can do it while I hold down Shukaku. Naruto nodded as Kyuubi lunged at the Ichibi. The fox slashed his claws at the sand creature and Naruto jumped onto the head of Shukaku. Naruto watched as sand clones of Shukaku formed and cursed. Damn sand. Naruto ran as he dodged sand spikes, air bullets and growled when a wall popped up. Damn it. Amaterasu. The wall burst into black flames as Kyuubi managed to place a gash on the Tankuni's left arm. Naruto stopped in front of Gaara and growled. He looked down to see his feet caught in the sand. Shukaku, I'm going to kick your ass when I take 2 cents place. Naruto punched Gaara in the face, waking the boy up. No. I just got out. Damn you Kyuubi. The giant fox laughed at the raccoon as Naruto started seals for the pronged seal again. 5-pronged seal. Naruto slammed his palm against Gaara's abdomen after lifting his shirt. Damn, I used up too much chakra 2-san, go and get rid of those snakes. Kyuubi nodded and took off for the front gates of Konoha. Gaara looked up at the blonde boy leaning against a tree. You're troublesome, you know that. A 1-pronged fucking seal is keeping him at bay. No wonder the bastard is insane. You just stay put and I'll see if the Hokage can help you later. Nighty night. Naruto fell against the tree as Team Sand jumped down to help their brother. I'm sorry. But the Hokage. Orochimaru gulped as he and the others in the barrier looked out to see Kyuubi heading towards the Snake Brothers. Shit. The Snake Sannin turned back to his opponents as the Hokage smirked, adamantine staff in hand. But now, Orochimaru. You can't use your impure world resurrection since I stopped all 3 of your coffins and you're at your limit now. But so are we. Orochimaru gulped at the evil smirk Yamato was giving him as he pulled his ninja 2 out of its sheath. I think it's time to take your jutsus. Orochimaru cursed as he saw the Anbu vanish and brought up his grass-long sword to stop the blow, only to watch the Anbu vanish and reappear behind him, taking his arms off from behind. My arms. Damn you leaf bastards. Orochi lunged at Sarutobi, tongue grabbing his sword and impaled the shocked Hokage in the stomach before jumping off towards the barrier. Yamato was about to give chase when Jiraiya called out to him. Let him go. The Hokage needs attention right now. Yamato growled but nodded, returning to the Hokage's side. The battle was over for now. So, what do you all think? I had nothing better to do so I did this. Hope you all enjoyed it. Chapter 2. Hey. I'm back and I'm sorry about the late update. He's the 2nd chapter of the Fox Annin. Also, I made a little tweak with the pairing. It's still Neurotoxin, but I made a little adjustment to it and another pairing I had in mind. Not too big but you'll see it. Chapter 2. Akatsuki and Tsunade's challenge. Naruto woke to a familiar head of black hair on his chest and smiled. It's been a week since the sand and sound attack and the village was recovering slowly. Naruto had to chuckle as he remembered being brought in front of the council 2 days after the Sandaime was released from the hospital. The old man had been poisoned by the grass-long sword and was let loose after 5 days of recovery. No doubt he ordered the poor nurse to let him leave. Flashback. Naruto walked into the council chamber with Jiraiya in full gear, wondering what the ignorant fools wanted of him now. Sarutobi sat in his chair, much to the delight of the teen. The boy stood before them looking around with hawk-like eyes. What do you want, old man? I was just about to start teaching Kin some advanced sealing, seeing that she knows how to seal things in scrolls. Naruto was irritated that these old bag of flesh wanted to talk to him. A man missing his left eye with a cane stood and glared at him. You will watch your mouth, brat. You are in front of the entire council so you will show us the respect we deserve. Naruto smirked under his mask with an evil shine in his eye. Respect is earned, not given, you old flesh bag. The old man glared as Sarutobi coughed to get their attention. Danzo, sit down. Naruto, please be polite. Now the reason we have called you here, Naruto, is because the council is concerned about the summoning of Kyuubi that you did during the attack. What, Tusan? You old farts are scared shitless because I can summon him. Naruto chuckled at the faces the council gave him. You are all idiots. Well, at least I showed you one thing. Naruto looked to the council with a Kai-enhanced glare, making several of the council shiver in fear. I am not the Kyuubi that you all so believed I am. Yes, I can summon the strongest Bijuuu alive, and yes, I call him Tusan. Why exactly is that, Naruto? The question came from an older version of Shikamaru, his father. Naruto decided. Many of the council nodded and Jiraiya sighed in his spot in the room, leaning against the wall. I call him that because he is all I had. He helped me recover from the beatings and even trained me. He cared for me when no one else would. He told me everything. My heritage, my bloodline, his reason for attacking, even who on this council knew him as he periodically visited. Naruto's eyes flashed red looking at the leaders of his village. My father, the Yellow Flash of Konoha. The man who turned the tide of the war with Iwa was the very same person who sealed the greatest of the Bijuuu away, all for his wish to be spat upon. He even left his son to a life of hell. How did you gain the Sharingan, dem brat? Naruto turned to the 2 eldest members of the council and glared. What was that you were going to say, elder? Dem. I can chalk that up to a few things, but yes, I am a demon now, thanks to your foolish attempts to kill me. Or rather, Fugaku's. Naruto smirked at the surprised old woman. I gained the Sharingan through a bit of blood and the creator himself. You see, I trained with Itachi back before he killed his clan when I was attacked by his clan. I told him of a plan Kyuubi had and he agreed. The plan was to use Itachi's blood to give me the Sharingan, while Toussaint used his chakra to make the Dojutsu permanent. As you can see, it works quite well. Naruto activated his Sharingan and smirked. The best part is, I can pass it on to my children. The council got greedy looks in their eyes, but Naruto stomped on them. Don't even think about putting the restoration act on me, you old fools. The moment you do, I will leave this village, and there won't be a damn thing you can do about it. The council growled at the boy as he grinned evilly under his mask. I have an idea, why not have him train Sasuke in the Rasengan? Naruto had slammed the man right into the wall by the throat. He knew this man, it was that Banshee's father. That technique will not go to that spoiled brat. I will kill any of you if you try to make me teach him such a jutsu. That may have been Minato's jutsu, but he is dead. The Rasengan is mine and mine alone. Naruto slammed the man into the wall once more before going back to his spot. Anyone else want to try? Danzo stood. I would like to propose that we put him in my root program. Denied. Sarutobi plainly stated as he looked back to Mr. Haruno, who was now nursing his throat. Naruto, you are dismissed. Jiraiya, I have a mission for you. You may take whoever you wish on this mission, just be sure to get it done. Naruto nodded to the old man. See you around, old man. Naruto smirked with a foxy grin under his mask as he erupted into smoke. The room looked to a source of massive killing intent, which was from Sarutobi. Jiraiya laughed at his sensei as the old man banged his head on the table in front of him. Bam, bang, you, bang, K bang Kashi. Somewhere in the village, our silver-haired copy ninja sneezed. Then flashback. Naruto felt Kin stir and smiled as she lifted her head to glare out of Naruto's window at the sun. He chuckled a bit at her while she sat up, taking the covers with her, exposing Naruto's naked chest and her large nightshirt. She looked down to Naruto and smiled. Morning, Naruto-kun. Naruto smiled and sat up, wrapping his arms around her waist and planting a kiss on Kin's cheek. Good morning, Kin-chan. Ready to get started on those seals again? Kin shook her head. No, I think this time we should try some ninjutsu after our warm-up. Would that be fine? Naruto nodded as he and the black-haired girl got up and dressed, Kin in the bathroom and Naruto in the bedroom. Once the two were dressed, they headed downstairs to find a perverted Sannin waiting in the kitchen. Hiro Sannin, you have 5 seconds to explain why you are in my kitchen, reading from my scroll and drinking my tea without my permission. Naruto growled as the Sannin looked up from the scroll. 1. I'm waiting on you. 2. I was thirsty. 3. I wanted to see the scroll on the Rasengan you made. Which is very well made. You gave such a detailed explanation of the way to conduct the lightning blade and Rasengan together that it might even be possible for me to try it out. 4. I wanted to let you know that Gaara and his team left today and his seal is better than the old one. Naruto shook his head as he walked over and grabbed the scroll. Next time ask. You have to know both Rikiri and Chidori in order to use it to its full power, and it takes a lot more chakra than you might think. Hiro Sannin. How many Rasengans can you do continuously until you suffer from chakra exhaustion? Jiraiya thought for a second. Well, I can do one in both hands, so I would say possibly 15 by the time I fall from chakra exhaustion. Naruto shook his head as he took the scroll into his library, leaving Jiraiya puzzled. Naruto walked back in and sat down while a clone he made started breakfast, seeing as Kin and himself wouldn't be able to do their warm-up. Kin-chan, I guess you might want to go and take a shower now. Breakfast and whatever the Sannin wants will be done and out when you get back. Kin nodded and headed off while Naruto looked to the Sannin. I can do 10 Rasengans to every Rasengan, and I can only do 25 Rasengans a day without counting 2 cents chakra. Jiraiya gaped at that. Also without counting the Rikiri you have to combine into the jutsu. That would mean I could only do 1 and be left with enough chakra for only 1 more Rasengan. That's a lot of chakra usage. So, what do you want, pervy sage? The Sannin growled and looked at the boy. I've been given a mission to go and find my teammate Tsunade. She's been chosen to become the Godame Hokage since Sensei is too old to continue with his line of work. Naruto nodded. And you want Kin-chan and I to come with you to keep us out of the council's reach and threats, all the while you hope Tsunade will soften up to us. Jiraiya sighed and nodded. Yes, you got me, but I will also be training you two as well. I've talked to your senseis, and they both have agreed to give me a few scrolls on what to teach you. I've gotten a few wood and earth scrolls from Yamato, and Kakashi gave me a few scrolls on fire and lightning jutsus. I'll be throwing a bit elemental manipulation here and there to help you both with your affinities. Mostly your earth and fire since I can't help with wind and water. Naruto nodded. I see. Well, when do we leave? Jiraiya smirked as he got up and started to leave. At noon. We'll meet at the village gates and head west. We need to head to Tanzuku town, as that's where my sources last saw her. Naruto nodded as his clone started to place the food on the table. The soft footsteps of Kin's bare feet made him smile as she walked in dressed in forest camouflage pants, a dark blue shirt with a kanji for icy rose on the back, black shinobi sandals and her headband around her forehead. She had a kunai holster on each thigh and a weapon pouch at her waist with a medical pouch. "You look lovely, Kin-chan." The girl smiled and pulled on Naruto's old Jonin-style vest. Kin took a seat at the table and the two dug in. "We have a mission, both of us." Kin looked up from her eggs, bacon, hash browns and toast with a raised brow. "What is it?" Naruto finished swallowing and responded with what the Sannin had told him. "We leave to find Tsunade at noon, so that should give us enough time to pack for a long-term mission." Kin nodded and continued to eat, the two having small talk over breakfast. Naruto made another clone as he got up and cleared the table while Kin went to get packed. Once Naruto finished the dishes he had to pack himself. Hospital. Kakashi walked into Sasuke's room with a displeased look. In the room were of course, Sasuke and his biggest fangirl and teammate, Sakura. He crossed his arms and glared at the Uchiha. "Sasuke, I heard you disobeyed a direct order from a ninja of higher rank. Care to explain?" Sasuke looked to his sensei with his "I'm an Uchiha, I do what I want" glare. "That dope Naruto told me to wait for his and his team before giving chase after the Suna team. I ran off to stop them from escaping. Besides, they would have only slowed me down." Sakura nodded in agreement. "Yeah, sensei. Naruto's still weaker than Sasuke and we all know he was pitied by the Fire Lord to make Chunin. Besides, he stole your jutsu and even the fourths when it should have been Sasuke-kun who used them. He even stole the Sharingan from one of Sasuke-kun's clansmen no doubt. He's a demon after all." Kakashi slammed his palm on the door, shutting the pink-haired girl up. "You two are the biggest idiots to ever walk the earth. You haven't learned a damn thing being under my teaching. What was the first thing I taught you three, huh? What was it?" "Tree climbing," the two said in unison. "No." Kakashi's visible eye was seething in rage. "I taught you that those who abandon the rules are trash, but those who abandon their friends are even lower than trash. Out of the three of you, Naruto is the only one who stuck to those words. You three showed great teamwork when we were doing the wave mission." Kakashi's killing intent was leaking out, aimed at the two students. "I refuse to teach either of you. Do not call me sensei and do not show up to the Team 7 training grounds. You two are no longer welcome to my teachings, and if I find either of you nearby when I'm teaching my next team, then I will beat the living shit out of you and bury you with my headhunter jutsu." Kakashi looked to the Uchiha, concentrating all his killing intent on him. "If I find out you have become taken over by the cursed seal, I will not hesitate to kill you and rid the village of a spoiled brat. You are also forbidden from using my Chidori." Kakashi left the room, slamming the door, leaving two stunned genin. Hokage Tower. Sarutobi counted down the minutes as he waited for what was to come. He had watched a confrontation with Kakashi and his two students and had already pulled out the paperwork. 3, 2, 1. "Okage-sama, Kakashi-san is here to see you." Old man pressed the comm button on his desk. "Send him in." Kakashi walked in and the Hokage held out the paperwork. "I knew you would hear about his insubordination at some point, so I kept a close watch on him and saw the whole thing. Just sign this and those two will no longer be your students and you will be given a new team once Naruto comes back from his mission with Jiraiya. Until then I have another mission for you. You, Asuma and his team will be heading for Kumo for negotiations on a treaty. It seems their Sandaime Reikage was tried and executed for the Hyuga kidnapping 6 years ago and hasn't let it be known until yesterday when I received a letter about it. The council and I have decided that you would be the perfect choice in the matter of negotiations. They said something about arranging a marriage to one of the clan heirs with the Yondaime's daughter and the only ones that I know the council would go crazy over is Sasuke being the one that is arranged to marry her. I have told her the names of all the clan heirs, including Naruto, and she has agreed that the Uchiha is out." Kakashi nodded as he took the scroll the Hokage gave him. "Your team will meet you at the village gates in 1 hour. You must be on time for everything on this mission, Kakashi. Please don't screw this up. You don't and I'll try and get Jiraiya to give you a signed make-out paradise version of each and every book he has and will be out by the end of this year." Kakashi's eyes shined and he nodded vigorously. "You got yourself a deal, Hokage-sama. A signed by the author version of each book. I can't wait." Kakashi gave a perverted giggle as the Hokage chuckled. "You're dismissed, Kakashi." The man in front of the Hokage nodded and left the room, making the Hokage do a double take. "That was oh well, works for me. At least it wasn't a clone this time." The Hokage summoned several clones and started on his paperwork. Village gates. Naruto and Kin walked up to the gate seeing Kakashi and Jiraiya standing outside the gate. Kakashi stood there reading his book while Jiraiya waited patiently. A swirl of leaves gave away to the arrival of Yamato, who waved to the two. The two waved back as they neared. The two came to a stop as the Sannin walked up to them. "You two ready to go?" Kakashi looked up from his book seeing two nods and closed his book. Before you two leave, I wanted to say that Sasuke and Sakura are no longer on Team 7. It seems they still haven't learned anything. Naruto nodded as Kin sighed. Kin, I picked this up for you. Yamato produced an Anbu katana and handed it to the girl. I wanted to start teaching you sooner, but because of the invasion we didn't get that chance. I hope Naruto will put some effort into teaching you the basics. It's better than that short sword you have now, Kin. Also, this is from Hade, Naruto. Naruto was tossed a scroll and caught it. It had a note tied to it with green ribbon. Naruto. Inside is my Kenjutsu style. I hope to instruct you on how to use it more efficiently soon. Hey Jeku. Naruto nodded and put the scroll in his pouch. Naruto turned to Kakashi and smiled under his mask. I'll see you when we get back, sensei. Either that or when I get back from Kumo. I just got a mission with Asuma and his team. I hope you get stronger on this mission, Naruto. And if you see Itachi, tell him this. His brother still doesn't understand and I wish he were back. Naruto nodded and the Sannin took his charges with him off towards where hopefully Tsunade can be found. On the road. Jiraiya turned to the two as he walked backwards. Okay you two, I guess I can start on training you. First, I want you both to tell me your elements and which ones you are more in tune with. The two nodded as Naruto went first. My elements are earth, wind, fire, water, ice, wood and lightning. The elements I am best at right now are water and earth. Both equally matched. Jiraiya nodded as Kin went. My elements are wind, water, earth, ice and wood. Since I have a bloodline to wood and ice, wind, water and earth are my main elements, while wood and ice are my sub. Yamato-sensei told me this when he started to teach me. Jiraiya sighed and pulled out a chakra card. Just press chakra into this and we'll see what your true elements is. The wood and ice, yes I know you have, but I need to know all of them. Kin nodded and pressed chakra into the card. The card split into 5 pieces, one was completely soaked, one turned to dust, another turned tan and became smooth like sand, one soaked then froze while the last sprouted a flower. Jiraiya looked at the tan one and picked it up from the ground, the paper flowing out of his hand like sand. What is that element? Naruto asked as the Sannin scratched his chin. Well, I know she has the element she mentioned, but I don't get the final one since no one has ever recorded it. It's like sand, but it can't be possible, since only the Ichibi container the late Shodaime Kazekage is known to use it. Jiraiya looked to Kin. We'll worry about this one another time. For now, what is your strongest element? Kin nodded. It's water. I use it to make ice and wood jutsus, so that should be the strongest. Jiraiya nodded and stood up. Well, one thing is for sure. You both are going to be powerhouses when you are both properly trained. Huh. The paper Kin was holding was the wood affinity and he knew that plant. Kin, do you know any medical jutsu? Kin nodded. I can only make medicine though I don't know much else since I've had to limit my chakra usage or else Orochimaru would have found out about my affinities to wood and ice. Jiraiya nodded. That plant you're holding is an herb that can both heal and poison. It all depends on how you mold it in your medicine. Once we see Tsunade, I'll see if she'd be willing to take you as an apprentice. Water and wood are 2 of the greatest elements to have when learning medicine. Kin nodded as the pervert took out 2 scrolls and tossed them to both of them. The first scroll for you Naruto is Great Fireball Jutsu and you Kin have Mud Wall Jutsu. As we travel, I want you both to do these jutsus until you either get chakra exhaustion or you are able to flash through the seals like no one's business. Once that is done, Naruto, you will get Kin's scroll and Kin will get another earth. After Naruto has gotten the Mud Wall, I will give him a new fire jutsu. We will continue this line of training until we find Tsunade and then we need to convince her to come back to Konoha with us to heal Neji. Jiraiya glared at Naruto, Rock Lee if possible, and become the Goddamn Hokage. The two nodded and started to read through their scroll while they followed the Sannin. And Naruto, no Sharingan when you're trying to learn these jutsus. I don't teach cheaters. Naruto looked at the Sannin like the old man was stupid. Thank you Captain Obvious. Now all we need is someone to take the role of Major Stupidity. Naruto spat out as he sent a glare at the Sannin. I'm not stupid, Jiraiya. I'm different from those copycat Ichigas. Jiraiya nodded and walked on towards the next town. Konoha. 2 figures sat at the Ichiraku ramen stand having a drink. Both wore similar cloaks, black with red clouds high collars, and had straw hats with bells on. One was taller than the other by a good 1.5 feet, and his skin was blue, while the other had black hair that went to his upper back and human. The short one's onyx black eyes were closed as the taller one drank his sake. The giant sword on the man's back was covered by wrappings. The old man that ran the stand sighed. It's so quiet without Naruto here. Oh well, missions will be mission. The old man caught the attention of the short one. This Naruto, where is he? A mission. Tenchi nodded. Yeah, said something about finding Tsunade of the Sannin. I miss the kid already. The short one nodded as he pulled out a large wad of money. You never saw us, Tenchi. Come kiss him. The large man nodded. The two vanished. The old man nodded confusingly as they left with a swirl of leaves. Naruto, Jiraiya and Kin's hotel room. One day later. Naruto sat looking over the mud wall scroll while Kin was taking a shower and the perverted sage was being, well, perverted. A knock at the door made Naruto look up from his scroll and sniff the air. Crows and sharks. Only one person I know has the crow contract. So, he's looking for me, eh? Naruto got up and walked over to the door. He grabbed Kubikiri from next to the door and opened the door while pulling the sword up to block a large Zanbatsu. The shark-faced man before him smirked as he pulled his sword back, about to strike again, but the short one held his hand up to stop him. That's enough, kiss him. Naruto-kun, good to see you're well. Itachi looked up to the boy that was almost as tall as his partner. Naruto smirked and let the two into the room. So, this is the boy you hold so much praise in, Itachi. Itachi nodded as Naruto motioned for the two to sit. Are you sure this brat is worth talking to? Couldn't I just chop off his legs and re-drag him back to base? Isam, you don't need to act here. The shark man nodded and relaxed. I'm warning you both now, Kin-chan is in the shower so if she comes out, don't attack her. Also, did you really have to put Jiraiya under that stupid genjutsu? That's almost as sorry as my sexy jutsu. Itachi smirked and shrugged. Thought I could get a kick out of it. Anyway, we're here to talk. Naruto nodded. Alright then, what's up? There is a group that is called Akatsuki. They are after all the bijuus and Jinchuriki that contain them. They want to use their power to control the world. Kisame, myself and two others are trying to destroy the group from the inside, but we've had no luck. Sasori of the Red Sands and Deidara of Iwa are helping Kisame and I. We can't do anything to the group though without letting ourselves be known, so we're looking for an alternative. Naruto nodded and remembered something Orochi team told him. Itachi, Orochimaru told me that my mother was with Akatsuki. He said she was taken by them on my birth. Do you know if that is true or not? Itachi thought for a second before shrugging. Kisame coughed to get their attention. I believe so. There was a woman in the jail at one of the bases we used to have before Orochimaru left and turned the old base into Odo. She had long red hair and was about 59. Other than that, I can't tell you much. She's probably still locked up there, asleep. I saw a number seals on her and I must say that I know for a fact she's still alive. Naruto smiled sadly as he nodded. Is there any way you can get her out of there? I'm sure I can cook up a deal with the Hokage when I go back. Itachi thought for a bit and nodded. Sasori and Deidara can help us get her out of there. Deidara can mold clay into almost anything, so we should be able to get her out. Naruto smiled and Naruto nodded as the two stood and headed for the door. Kakashi gave me a message for you. Your brother hasn't learned anything and is a spoiled brat. Wish you were back. Itachi groaned and nodded. Damned Itaudo. I knew this would happen. Naruto nodded as the two opened and left the room, leaving Naruto to himself as Jiraiya came flying through the window. You're late and I'm glad the window was open. Jiraiya looked to the annoyed teen and sighed. I take it Itachi and Kisame left already? Naruto nodded and held up a tracker. We made a deal. They check and see if my mother is hidden where they said she is, and I make a deal with the Hokage to get them off missing ninja status. Jiraiya growled at the kid. You just can't go on making deals with Nukenin Naruto. You have no idea if they'll turn on you or not. Naruto groaned and rolled his eyes. Says the man who fell for the most ridiculous genjutsu Itachi has ever used next to my sexy jutsu. Look, Itachi and Tusan made a blood pact the same day I got my Sharingan. Itachi won't and can't hurt me since Kyuubi agreed to stop the blinding of his eyes and the raven demon that was sealed in him in secret won't allow him to break a blood pact. Jiraiya gaped at the boy as he got up and stretched. What are you two arguing about now? Kin walked out of the bathroom with her night clothes on while brushing her hair. Just that sometimes you need to have faith in your student's judgment. Naruto replied as he gathered a pair of clothes and walked into the bathroom. That brat is going to be a giant pain in my ass throughout the entire trip. Kin giggled as she set down her brush and grabbed a scroll out of her bag. What you got there? Kin opened the scroll and looked to the pervert. The scroll on sealing. I want to learn how to do more than just sealing items in scrolls. Jiraiya smirked, now this was his department. Let me see if I can help. I'm the best seal expert there is since the Yondaime died. Kin nodded and the two began the lesson on seals. Tenzuku Town 2 days later. The trio walked down the streets to Tenzuku Town, with Naruto looking around for Tsunade, Kin looking over another earth scroll, and Jiraiya peeking into every casino and bar for Tsunade and inspiration for his next book. A large crash came from the bar they were just about to pass, and a man came flying out onto the road from the bar. Jiraiya smirked as Kin looked at the giant hole in amazement, and Naruto shook his head. Found her? Jiraiya noted as he walked into the bar. Tsunade, a tall, busty blonde, sat with a pig and a woman shorter than her by a few inches with short black hair, wearing a black kimono. Naruto nodded and walked after the Sannin with Kin following. Tsunade. The blonde woman looked up and groaned. Not him too, what do you want, Jiraiya? Tsunade took a drink from her sake bottle. Jiraiya sat down across from the slug queen and ordered a bottle of sake for himself. I see you haven't changed much, Tsunade. Still as beautiful as ever. Tsunade pulled out a deck of cards and began to shuffle. She placed the deck on the table and Jiraiya cut the deck. Cut to the chase, you pervert. What do you want? The white-haired pervert smirked behind his cards. I've come to ask you to return to Konoha, Tsunade. We have some, Jiraiya glared over his cards at his student, patients that need your help. Namely a Tsukiyami victim, courtesy of Naruto here. Jiraiya nodded his head to the boy and Tsunade looked over to him and shrugged. Konoha's problems are not mine, Jiraiya. Besides, Sarutobi's dead, right? A poisonous sword went right through his stomach, did it not? Orochimaru told me all about it when he came here. Tsunade looked at her hand and found she had 2 aces. Nothing's there for me, why would I go back? Because Orochimaru lied to you, old hag. He may have stabbed the old man through the stomach, but he's alive and well. Doesn't help when I've got the cure for the grass long sword's poison right here. Naruto lifted a red chakra-covered hand as Tsunade's eye twitched from the old hag comment. Jiraiya, it seems ninja these days are getting more idiotic by the years. This Chunin for example. Tsunade glared at Naruto as Jiraiya laid his cards on the table. Don't let him get to you, Tsunade. Naruto's never shown respect to anyone but the Fire Lord. This by the way is Kintsuchi. Kin smiled and bowed. Right, well what else is it you want, Jiraiya? I doubt I'm needed just for curing the injured. Shizune looked back and forth between the two as they talked. Sensei has chosen you to become the Goddamn Hokage. Tsunade snorted as she leaned back in her chair. Hokage? You want me to become one of those fools? No, I refuse. Naruto snapped his eyes open from a blink. Hokage. Please, I'd sooner be mincemeat than become one. A Hokage is a fool who throws their life away. The Sho, Nai and Yondaime Hokages are great examples of that. My great-grandfather and grand-uncle died in battle while that stupid student of yours threw his life away to seal Kyuubi. Naruto growled. Watch what you say about Shodaime and Nidaime, you old bat. The Yondaime can go fuck himself, but you have no right to talk about your family like that. They both died protecting thousands of people. The Shodaime died protecting the village from a corrupt clan leader and the Nidaime died protecting us in the Great Shinobi War. They not only died protecting the village, but their family as well. Tsunade looked at the blonde annoyed and buzzed. Jiraiya, this brat is getting on my nerves. Don't you have something else to do besides bug me, brat? Naruto growled. Dusan's right, you're not worth a penny anymore, hag. Naruto turned from the table and started to walk out with the table watching him. A Hokage is a fool, eh? I guess that makes every ninja and Kage a fool then. After all, Hokages are ninja. Naruto looked over his shoulder smirking under his mask. Oh well, I guess a hemophiliac like you old bitch, wouldn't know foolishness if it bit your ass. Naruto continued walking before swiftly turning and using Kubikiri to cut the table in half. Tsunade was standing with her eyes glaring daggers at Naruto. You and me, outside. Naruto scoffed and shook his head. As I said, Tsunade, you're not worth anything. Orochimaru can kill you for all I care, I'm sure we can find a new slug Sannin. One that's not running from her past. Naruto continued walking away as Tsunade rushed after him. Jiraiya and Kin watched as the blonde woman raised her hand to punch when Naruto vanished from her sight. That was not like Naruto-kun. Jiraiya nodded as Tsunade growled and punched the ground in frustration, making a sizable crack in the ground. But, it's getting better. Jiraiya pointed to Tsunade's head and saw Naruto, arms crossed and eyes closed standing on Tsunade's head while the woman was looking around for him. Looking for me? Naruto back-flipped off the Sannin's head and landed a few feet away from her. You're drunk. Naruto's eyes opened showing ice-cold eyes. You are really that pissed to want to fight me? Tsunade cracked her knuckles as Naruto took his Zanbatsu off his back and placed it in the ground. I'm gonna teach you to show some respect, brat. Naruto cracked his neck and shrugged. Sure thing, hemophiliac. Naruto entered the gentle fist stance as Tsunade held up one finger. I'll beat you with one finger. Naruto yawned and nodded. Sure, grandma. Naruto, please don't piss her off too much. She is known for her strength and medical jutsu. Just a flick will send you flying over 20 yards as you are right now. Naruto nodded and waited. The two faced each other for a period of time before Naruto smirked under his mask and started to flash through seals. Tsunade rushed him as Kin saw the seals he was doing. Wood style. Rose whip. Naruto slammed his hands to the ground as a rose grew from the ground and he grabbed it. Tsunade stopped in surprise while the boy flicked his wrist and the rose became a 10-foot thorny whip. I've been waiting to try this out in a fight, Tsunade. Naruto snapped the whip on the ground making a line-like crater. Naruto rose it and flicked it out towards Tsunade who jumped away forming seals. Fire style. Dragon fire missile jutsu. Tsunade took a deep breath and blew out a large stream of fire at the whip in the form of a dragon. Naruto smirked as he brought his whip, slashing though the fire dragon, burning it to ash. Oh darn. Naruto shrugged as he placed the remainder of the rose by his sword. Naruto rushed out to Tsunade and went to punch her face. Tsunade lifted her finger and stopped the punch but felt the impact shake her entire body. This boy's strength is nearly equal to mine without me using my chakra. If he ever got a hold of my strength he would be very powerful. Tsunade slid Naruto's fist the other way and flicked his forehead, sending him into a nearby street post. Naruto coughed and looked up with a smirk. So, the Sannin's strength is just as Toussaint said. Now, what say you to this? Naruto held out his hand as a Rasengan formed. Tsunade gasped as the boy rushed her. She jumped from the spot Naruto was about to grind the strong ball of chakra and appeared behind him, using her finger to once again send him flying, this time, with chakra. Jiraiya, you taught him the Rasengan. What is wrong with you? That jutsu should die with you and Kakashi when the both of you pass. Jiraiya grunted as he watched Kin run off and help Naruto. And he can use wood, what is there that I don't know? He most likely gets it from Kyuubi. The wood jutsu I mean. The Rasengan was his father's and so, I taught it to him. Tsunade looked to the blonde boy sitting up and shaking his head. That is Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki, or as he calls himself now, Naruto no Kyuubi. Tsunade shook her head as Naruto stood holding his head. Don't you ever call me Namikaze, Iro-san, or I will make sure you can never show yourself to a woman ever again. Naruto laced killing intent in his voice, making the sage know he was serious. Now, are you done yet? I want to go back to Konoha. This old bat's not coming so why stay longer? Naruto tilted his head to avoid a punch to the head by Tsunade, his eyes flashing Sharingan. That's Sharingan. Naruto smirked under his mask as Kin shook her head. Naruto-kun, please stop. Naruto sighed and let his eyes go back to his cerulean blue. Jiraiya snapped his fingers with a large smile. How about a bet, Tsunade? If you win, you don't have to come to Konoha and we leave. If I win, you come back to Konoha with us to become Godame. Tsunade, Kin here wants to be a combat medic ninja and I thought maybe you'd be willing to take her as your student. Give her a week to master your secret strength and depending on if she can use it or not, we'll decide who wins. Tsunade seemed to think for a minute as Naruto chuckled. Like she'll agree. I'll bet she's scared that she'll lose the bet. Tsunade glared at the boy. Oh well, I guess when you get old you get even more scarred than anything. Tsunade growled at the boy as she took out a scroll from nowhere. You're on. Here is the scroll on what to do. If you can use it at the end of 7 days then I will teach you, but if not, then you all leave me and my student alone. Deal? Kin nodded nervously and took the scroll. Jiraiya nodded to Tsunade when she turned to him and glared. Let's get some rest everyone. We've been traveling all day and you have a jutsu to learn by the end of the week, Kin. Jiraiya led Naruto and Kin away from the street to a hotel to get their rooms. Naruto had only one thought as they walked away while he went to get his sword. Boom. Tsunade smirked as she held up the money purse she snatched from the blonde when she went to punch him. Hey Brad. Tsunade was ignored but the purse exploded, covering Tsunade and Shizune in rainbow paint. The Sannin glared at the boy picking up his sword and saw the amusement in his eyes. Never steal from a fox. It's bad for your health. Naruto turned and went to catch up with his teacher and girlfriend. Tsunade growled as Shizune's eye twitched. I'm going. To kill him. The two glared at the boy's back. Kumo. Kakashi and the team walked up to the gates without his book out. The guard stopped them as Kakashi pulled out his passport. I'm here on a diplomatic mission from Konoha. Your Raikage should be expecting us. The Kumo Chunin nodded and let them through as an Anbu dropped in front of them, kneeling. Welcome to Kumo, Haddock-san. I will escort you and your team to the Raikage's office. The Anbu stood and the group of leaf shinobi followed the masked ninja. Shikamaru, wearing his Chunin vest, sighed as they walked. Man, this is so troublesome. Asuma shook his head as Kakashi froze in mid-step. The Anbu stopped and looked back to see Kakashi looking around with a narrowed eye. Why do I sense demon chakra coming from over there? The Anbu looked over to where Kakashi was pointing and cursed. Damn it, not again. Wait here please. The Anbu vanished and the group looked to Kakashi. Another Jinchuruki? I wonder who this one is. Asuma lit a cigarette as Kakashi nodded. This one smells cat-like. Most likely the container for the Nibi Nekomata. Kakashi got a nod from the other Jonin. You're correct, Kakashi Haddock. The group turned to see a woman with long blonde hair and violet eyes. She was wearing the Raikage robes. My name is Ichiro Nai, the Raikage. I'm guessing my daughter is either really pissed off at someone or being attacked, more likely the first since I kept a close watch on her. Ah, here she comes now. The group looked back to see a lookalike of the Raikage. The girl coming towards them had blonde hair that went to her mid-back in a ponytail and violet cat-like slit eyes. She wore a purple yukata top with blue jeans. Her Kumo headband wrapped tightly around her neck like a choker. The Anbu next to her kept their distance. Vegito, dear, say hello to Kakashi and his team. They will be here to discuss the treaty with us. Yujito looked at the four-leaf ninja and grunted. HN. Yujito walked to her Raikage and stood behind her. Vegito, be nice. Yuichiro pleaded as her daughter looked away. I've taken care of the problem, Raikage-sama. A store manager was kicking her out of the store for perfectly no reason. Storm told me the entire story after I arrived. The woman nodded and sighed. I see. Well, Kakashi, you all must be tired from your travels, so I will take you to where I've arranged for you to stay. Yujito, return home. Now. The way the final word came out had the girl gone in a blur. The Raikage led the group away from the village square. I'm glad you didn't bring a Hyuga with you, Haddock. The council and some of the villagers really wanted that Byakugan and they haven't let up in trying to get me to give out missions to kidnap the heiress. Kakashi nodded. Well, with the letter you sent the Hokage about the treaty, I'm sure the Hokage knew that some still wanted to get their hands on the Byakugan. I'm in just as much danger because I have the Sharingan in my left eye. The Raikage nodded. I just hope the council doesn't try anything. They all still hold grudges against you and belief. Kakashi nodded as they stopped in front of a large compound. Well, we're here. This is the Raikage's compound. I have a guest house here and that is where you will stay for your time here in Kumo. The shinobi all nodded and followed the Raikage to the guest house. Enjoy your stay. I wish to see you, Kakashi, at 8 in the morning. Kakashi nodded and Asuma paled while the Raikage left. You just doomed this treaty, Kakashi. Kakashi narrowed his eyes as he walked away. Forest outside Tenzuku. Naruto sighed as he watched over Kin. This jutsu was complicated and the fact Kin has almost no taijutsu style makes it even more complicated. He'd read the scroll and knew right away that this was going to be hard. It was like a Rasengan, you need power and control. Kin went to punch the same tree she had tried the technique on all day. Naruto flinched when he heard a sickening crack as her fist met the tree. Ah. Fuck. Kin fell to her knees clutching her hand as Naruto walked over and kneeled down to her level. He took her hand and ran his red chakra-covered hand over and massage, making the pain go away and a pleased moan come from the girl. Kin, I think I can help. I want you to try this one more time and I'm going to watch your chakra with my Sharingan. I'm gonna see if I can guide you along in this. Kin nodded and stood up. She charged the chakra into her hand as Naruto watched her and punched the tree. Naruto shook his head. I see the problem, Kin-chan. You're not releasing the chakra and the way you punch will only serve to break your hand every time. Let me try this. Naruto reared his fist back and punched the tree, releasing chakra at the same time his fist came on contact with the tree. A gasp came from the girl as Naruto nodded at the giant hole that was in the tree. That's what I thought. You need to release the chakra at the same time you hit the tree with the punch. Kin, I'm gonna teach you how to use the punch from my taijutsu style. Okay, Naruto-kun. Naruto led her over to a rock. Okay, this is how the punch works. See, what normal people do is this. Naruto held his right hand in a fist and punched the rock, making a resounding smack. They use power and speed to attack. What you need to learn to do is this. Naruto punched the rock again and this time the rock shattered to dust. That was basis of Tsunade's enhanced strength. She first touches with the backside of her fingers, then releases her chakra as she slams her knuckles with power and unmatched speed. Naruto showed her slowly how to do it. Now, you're gonna need to learn how to do this in order to begin using her technique, so I'm gonna help you out as much as I can. The best way to do this is by shadow clone. So, I'm gonna teach you the shadow clone jutsu while I give you chakra to refill your reserves. Kin nodded as Naruto placed a hand on her shoulder and started to send chakra into Kin's chakra system. The girl felt her reserves being forced to stretch causing her to grit her teeth in pain. Now, make this seal and make as many clones as you can. Kin nodded and shakingly put her hands into the seal. With a cry of shadow clone jutsu, 20 Kins now stood in the clearing. Naruto whistled as he filled her reserves again, this time not overflowing her reserves. Good job for a first try, Kin. Now, let's get to work on that punch. Kin nodded as she and her clones practiced the punch Naruto showed her. Naruto stood by watching closely, watching as Kin and her clones trained. But the way she's going, she'll be able to use this without a second thought. When she learns Tsunade's technique, she'll be a force not to be messed with after the right training. Yes, that's true, kid. Now, I think I found something interesting with Kubikiri Haucho. It seems that the Zanbatsu has its own chakra system. Look at it with the Sharingan and you'll see what I mean. Also, look for any seals might be on the sword. If you see any, I might be able to tell you what they do. Naruto took his sword off his back and turned his Sharingan on to look at it. He gasped as he saw the blade had chakra going through the blade. It was not much, but it was there. Naruto looked over the blade for any seals and found only one. That is a chakra point seal. You channel chakra into the seal and the sword will absorb it. Once the blade is full on chakra, the seal will vanish until chakra has been used. By the look of the blade, it can handle a very good amount, about 4/5 of your chakra can fill it up. I better not tell him yet. Might shake him up a little if I tell him too soon. Naruto smirked and started to push chakra into the seal as he watched Kin. Her progress grew as Naruto filled his sword with chakra. I need to start teaching her how to use a sword after she gets that tech down. A few hours passed and the two called it quits for the day. Rice Country. Itachi took a left turn once he walked inside the underground passage to an old Akatsuki base. Kisame was taking care of any ninja that tried to come in after him, while Deidara, an explosive expert, went about placing his art around the base, and his partner Akasuna no Sasori was using his puppets to attack any that made it past Kisame. Itachi was looking for the cells the snake put his prisoners in. He took another left until he came across the door he was looking for. Breaking the door in, he walked in and looked in all the cells. Let's see what we got. Itachi went around the rooms looking for Kushina and stopped when he came across a girl with glasses. What have we here? The girl looked up and glared. Are you Orochimaru's new apprentice or something? Itachi shook his head as the girl shrugged. No matter, what are you here for? Torture, jailbreak, what? Itachi smirked as he looked at the chains that kept the girl bound to the wall. Jailbreak. What's your name and what are you doing here? The girl sighed as she reached up and pressed her glasses to her face. My name is Karen and I'm here because Orochimaru kidnapped me from my home. I know just about everyone in this jail if they're alive still. Itachi nodded as Karen groaned. I know every inch of this place since Orochimaru lets me out every once in a while, like he did a week ago. Said something about Tsunade. Anyway, let me out. Itachi nodded and took out a small tag. Are you crazy? That will kill me. Itachi shook his head as he placed it over the lock. He moved a few steps back and watched as the lock blew off the door. Huh. Never seen a tag like that before. Itachi pulled out a lockpick and moved to unlock the girl's chains. Once the chains were off, Karen got up and stretched. That's better. Now, want some help with your jailbreak? Actually, you can tell me if there is a red-headed woman in this prison. I'm looking for her, mother of my student. Karen smirked and motioned for Itachi to follow her. Follow me, I think I might know. By the way, if you had a lockpick, why did you blow the door's lock instead of picking it? Itachi shrugged. I like the way I do things. Karen shook her head as she led the teen to a door at the end of the large hall. Right in here. I think this is the one. Itachi nodded and placed a tag on the door, watching the door lock blow off. Itachi opened the door and looked inside. It was a large room with medical equipment and a medical bed. Itachi spotted a 59 red-headed woman with a seal over her forehead and left breast, right over her heart. The reason Itachi could tell and Karen had a sick look on her face. Kushina Uzumaki was hanging by her arms and her shirt had a rip in it right where the seal was visible. Itachi activated his Manjutsu Sharingan in anger and looked over to Karen. Do you know if anyone has come in here for anything? Karen nodded. I've been here for about 12 years, since I was 3, and I know that no one has come in here at any time for anything. Orochimaru brought her in one night and after all the shouts and cursing were over with he walked out with several bruises and muttering something about redheads with explosive tempers. Since that day, no one has come here. Itachi nodded and moved quickly to get her down. Once he had her down, Itachi took a closer look at the seals. A preservation seal and a body freeze seal. No wonder her chakra is so still and her body is cold. She has a pulse, but wait, there is a third seal. Itachi lifted the red head shirt and looked at it confusingly. Is this a cellular growth stunt seal? These are impossible to make. They completely stop the body's growth, keeping the body's physical aging at the same once the seal has been activated, but this seal doesn't work unless these other two are on the body. Basically, Kushina is still around 25 years old. Itachi pulled the shirt back down and lifted the woman over his shoulder. So, what's next? Itachi looked to her and sighed. Something tells me I'm gonna regret this. Come, we're going to find Tsunade and Jiraiya. They will help us with Kushina and you with finding a new home. Is there anyone else here that is alive that hasn't been killed or isn't dead? Karen shook her head. Then let's go. I am Itachi Uchiha by the way. Karen nodded and followed the cloaked teen as fast as she could. Everyone, this is Weasel, I got the Leaf Angel. Let's get the hell out of Dodge. The Uchiha called over his comm link. Uppeteer here, all routes are clear and Bomberman is finished with delivering the gifts. Shark is waiting with us at the entrance. Puppeteer out. Itachi shook his head from his two friends. They ran for what seemed like hours to Karen until they reached the exit. Itachi came to a slow stop outside the door with Karen and looked to his friends. Each of them had the same cloak. Kisame looked to the girl with a raised brow. Who's the brat Itachi? Itachi explained to him what went on down there and the others nodded. Well, better get ready to go yeah. time to make a bang with my art. Everyone nodded as Dadara molded his clay into 3 large falcons. It's all I got left, yeah. Sasori and I will take this one, Kisame and the brat on that one and Itachi with Kushina on the last one, yeah. Everyone got on their falcon and took off, heading for Konoha. Anzuku town, day of the showing. Kin and the rest of the group stood in a clearing, waiting for Kin to show Tsunade that she had learned her secret technique. Kin walked up to a large boulder as she reared her fist back and was about to land the punch, but jumped out of the way from a barrage of kunai. Shit. Kin looked around too with the group and found Orochimaru with his arm sewn back on with Kabuto next to him. Well, if this isn't a surprise, Kin-chan. So lovely to see you alive. Kin growled as she went to move back to Jiraiya only for Kabuto to launch another kunai right at her foot. Now dear. I think it's time you come home. Naruto growled pulling Kubikiri off his back getting ready to run off to help Kin. I wouldn't do that Naruto-kun. The moment you move, Kabuto will kill her. Naruto smirked under his mask and stabbed his Zanbatsu into the ground. Alright Orochimaru, what do you want? Jiraiya growled out as the snake started to walk towards Kin. Why, I want Kin back and I want Tsunade to help me. See my arms aren't really usable since Yamato cut them off so only Tsunade can bring them back to life again. In return, I was going to bring her little brother and Dan back. Naruto was shoved aside as Tsunade walked up, remembering a talk with the boy she had 2 nights ago. Flashback. Naruto sat down next to a river as Tsunade walked up to him. Alright brat, what did you want? Naruto looked over his shoulder, causing the Sannin to gasp at the first time seeing his face without the mask. He looks like Minato so much. You do know he won't keep his end of the bargain right? Tsunade looked at him confused. Orochimaru would kill you the moment he got what he wanted. You'd be wasting your time and your life. Shizune told me all about it. Tsunade sighed and sat down next to the boy. She'll deal with Shizune later. She told me all about them. Dan and Noaki. I see, so what did you call me out here for besides that? Naruto smirked and got up. I want you to know, whatever happens, blood isn't that scary. It's a blessing, sometimes a proof of innocence, and then there is a sign of death. You must remember, Tsunade, everyone carries blood, even yourself. To fear blood is to fear a part of you that keeps you alive. It's okay to fear but not okay to let your fear take control of your life. Tsunade nodded to the kid as he started to walk away. Kin has your secret mastered already by the way. All she needs now is to learn a taijutsu style. Naruto looked over his shoulder with a grin. I'm sure you could teach her a thing or two. Then flashback. Tsunade walked up towards Orochimaru, her hands glowing green. Naruto smirked as he got up behind his sword, starting a line of seals. Orochimaru held out his arms as Tsunade moved her hand to his arm. Kabuto pushed his master out of the way. Kabuto, what are you doing? Kabuto looked back to his master while Naruto jumped onto the handle of his sword. I'm also a medic so I know for a fact that chakra was meant to kill not heal, Orochimaru-sama. Tsunade. Move. Tsunade jumped away from the 2 Odo ninja as Naruto flipped onto his hands, taking hold of Kubikiri and ripping it out of the ground with his momentum. He landed on his feet and brought his sword down in a quick and powerful slash. Earth Claw. Chakra shot out of the blade on impact, heading straight towards the 2 Odo nin. Kin used this chance to move back over to Tsunade and the others, while Orochimaru and Kabuto jumped away from the attack Naruto sent. Jiraiya rushed off to face Orochi, while Naruto took Kabuto. Naruto-kun, so nice to see you. Kabuto blocked a kick to his ribs, and Naruto pulled back, sending a horizontal slash, cutting through the kunai Kabuto brought up to block with. The medic from Odo jumped a good distance away as Naruto flashed through seals. Earth style. Mud Dragon Missile Jutsu. A large mud dragon erupted from the ground and shot out after the Odo ninja with glaring red eyes. Earth style. Mud style shit. Kabuto stopped his seals when kunai and senbon came flying at him from the sides. He jumped out of the way and then jumped again when the mud dragon came crashing down on him. Naruto rushed him again with his Zanbatsu as Kin and Shizune joined in. Kabuto activated his chakra scalpels and started to disable Shizune with a single hit to her right thigh, then Kin with one to her knees. Kabuto saw Naruto stop when he placed a kunai under Kin's neck. The raven-haired girl smirked as she looked to the medic. Hey 4 eyes. Kin says boom. Kabuto cursed as he was sent flying from an exploding clone. Kabuto. I need you. Kabuto coughed as he jumped away from an earth-shattering punch from Kin, creating a crater that made Tsunade proud. Kabuto landed by Orochimaru and pulled up his sleeve to show his tattoo. Jiraiya and Naruto spotted it and started to do through seals as Kabuto did the same. Summoning Manda, Kyuubi and Gamabunta. Tsunade, not wanting to be left out, summoned Kitsaya. Jiraiya. What is the meaning of this? Orochimaru, why did you summon me here? Have you got my sacrifices? Good to see you Tsunade. Been a while. Ah fresh air. Now, what to do? Kyuubi drew the attention of all the summons as Naruto looked to the fox. "Dusan, let's kill that damn snake once and for all." Kyuubi nodded and licked its lips. "That sounds like a good idea, son. I'm in the mood for a snake stew." Kyuubi growled, showing its Zanbatu-length fangs as Gamabunta looked to Jiraiya. "You have some explaining to do. For now, I could use a new snakeskin wallet." "Ha! Just try it, you toad sandwich. Orochimaru, I require 100 sacrifices after this." "Fine, Manda. Just kill them." "Good luck with that." Kyuubi drew his head back and threw it forward, blowing a large green flame from his mouth as Naruto jumped off and went to take care of Kin and Shizune. Manda burrowed underground to get away from the flames and the acid Katsaya spit after him. Jiraiya told Bunta to jump away when the ground started shaking around him. The boss toad jumped to the side as Manda came out of the ground, jaws wide open. Kyuubi lunged at the snake with his claw and brought it down on Manda's jaw, sending the snake slamming hard into the ground. Tsunade grabbed Bunta's sword and jumped onto Manda's head, stabbing the large snake through the top of its mouth and pinning it to the ground. Tsunade jumped up onto Manda as Orochimaru started to run away. After today the Sannin are gone. Tsunade started to beat down on Orochimaru as the summons except Kyuubi and Manda left. "I think I'll have a little snack before I eat, Orochimaru." Manda tried to pry himself from the ground as Kyuubi leaned down. "This is for eating my wife and kids, Manda. I know it was you that did it and now you die." Kyuubi bit down on Manda's neck and ripped it from Manda's head. Kyuubi let the body of the snake drop as it covered itself with chakra, shrinking down to a human form. Long crimson hair, cold red eyes, a handsome face and a red guy. Kyuubi walked to where Tsunade was charging up for a final punch. "He's mine." Orochimaru turned around to see Kyuubi make a sword with his chakra. 2 murderers in one day. This is going to be a good day. Kyuubi's ice-cold eyes bore a hole in Orochimaru. "You summoned Manda to kill my family and framed me. Now you'll die." Kyuubi vanished from sight and appeared where Tsunade was. Orochimaru stood frozen when the two looked back to see him. That was until black flames landed and caught fire on him, courtesy of Naruto. Mud clone. Kyuubi growled as he looked to see Kabuto and Orochimaru were both gone. "Damn it." Kyuubi punched the ground in fury. "I was so close to killing him." Naruto nodded as Kin and Shizune came running up and Jiraiya landed nearby. "Let's go, everyone. We need to go home." "Naruto, catch." Tsunade took off her necklace and threw it to Naruto. Naruto caught it and smiled. The necklace of the first Hokage. Worth enough to buy 3 mountains and the mines under them. Said to be able to suppress bijuus chakra and have a curse. "Are you sure you want me to have it?" Tsunade nodded as Naruto put it around his neck. "Hit, I need to speak you with later. See you all soon." Kyuubi vanished back into the seal and the group headed back to the inn. Mindscape, later that night. Naruto walked up to the cage Kyuubi sat behind and leaned against it. "So, what's up, Pops?" Kyuubi walked into the light in his human form and sighed. "The seal is working much faster than I thought it would. It seems the shock of the 5-pronged seal you released caused a distortion of sorts. The seal is draining my chakra faster than it was before. Instead of the intended 3 years until you turn into a demon, it'll be most likely on your next birthday, which is in 2 weeks." Naruto cursed. "That means I got to get the Hokage to let me leave or find an alternate route." Kyuubi smirked. "I have that covered already. The day before your birthday we will place a chakra barrier and soundproof seals around your house and in your room. This will keep everyone out and not let them hear you scream." Naruto nodded as he thought of a question. "How long did you know this was going to happen?" Kyuubi smiled sheepishly. "A few weeks." Naruto shook his head as he left the seal. Kyuubi sighed when he left and looked to the seal. "Soon, I will be free and Naruto will gain his second tail. Maybe even his third if he's strong enough." Next morning. Naruto walked out of the shower over to one of his ceiling scrolls to get his clothes when Kin walked into the room. The girl blushed and walked back out as Naruto chuckled and scratched the back of his head sheepishly. He was only covered by a towel since he didn't take his clothes with him. He quickly put on his clothes and opened the door to see Kin waiting outside it with a dark red blush. "Sorry about that, Kin-chan. Forgot to grab my clothes before I went in." Kin nodded as a smile graced her lips. "Well, we're leaving today so you might want to hurry." Naruto nodded and walked back into the room to gather his things. Kin walked in after him to get her things when she heard a tapping on the window. She looked to see a crow with a scroll in its beak. Naruto-kun, were you expecting a letter?" Naruto looked up from sealing a spare pair of pants to see the crow. He walked over and let the bird in, taking the scroll. "Long time no see, kid. How you doing?" Naruto looked at the bird for a second and smiled under his mask. "Good to see you too, Kachi. I guess I owe you, don't I?" The crow nodded as Naruto opened the scroll. He read through it and his eyes went wide. "Naruto-kun. What's wrong?" Kin walked around him and read the scroll over his shoulder. She gasped and Naruto looked to Kachi. I don't have anything right now but tell Itachi that we're on our way back to Konoha. He should meet us on the way back. Jiraiya already knows about the entire thing so they should be fine. Kachi nodded and flew out the window. They found her. They found my mother. Kin hugged the half-demon from behind as Naruto looked down to the scroll. Ka-san. Hey Naruto. Kin. You two ready? Jiraiya walked into the room and saw Naruto looking over the scroll. What's up you two? Naruto rolled up the scroll and threw it to Jiraiya. Read. Jiraiya nodded cautiously as he opened and read the scroll. Once he was done, he looked up with a shocked look. Amabunta's pipe. They found her. Naruto nodded as Tsunade and Shizune walked into the room. Who found who, pervert? Jiraiya turned to Tsunade with a serious look. Itachi, Kisame and 2 other Akatsuki members found Kushina and they're bringing her to us. They want to join Konoha. Tsunade laughed. Sure, and the Gobi is my mother. Naruto and Kin glared as Jiraiya shoved the scroll into her hands. Read M and weep. Jiraiya crossed his arms as the Slug Queen read the scroll, her face growing more surprised at the second. Holy shit, they found her. The 2 younger ninja nodded as Tsunade looked to Jiraiya. We've been looking for 12 years and have yet to find her, but now 4 Nukenin do the job for us. Jiraiya nodded again. I know, Tsunade. We'll deal with her condition when we see her. As for the 4 Nukenin, Naruto promised to get them a chance to join the Leaf, and with you as the new Hokage, they need to speak with you. Tsunade nodded as Naruto gathered his things and looked at them all. Well, if we're all ready to go, let's get going. Everyone nodded as Kin sealed her things and headed out to the door with Naruto. Akatsuki base. Has anyone seen or heard from Itachi, Kisame, Deidara or Sasori? They were due back a week ago. A man with man piercings and red hair asked his members. The group before him shook their head as a Venus flytrap looking person walked up from the shadows. I haven't seen hide nor hair of them, Pain-sama. It's likely they are either in the air or in a place that I can't get to. Pain growled in anger. I see. Zetsu, what is the status of the bijuus and their containers? The Jinchuriki of the Ichibi is absorbing its chakra by the day. In 3 years there will be a new Ichibi. The location is in sand. The Nibi container has almost completed the merging process and is no longer in Kumo. I believe she may be moving to a new village or has gone Nukenin. The Sanbi is still in mist, other than that, I have no clue what's up with that one. All of the others have escaped my grasp except the Kyuubi container. From Itachi's last report, the Kyuubi is slowly merging with its host and will soon be able to escape the seal that holds it without kill the child it sealed in. The child is becoming the new Kyuubi and lives in Konoha. Pain nodded and looked to a man with white hair wearing priest clothes and a man that looked to be stitched together. The eyes are closing and they will stay closed for at least 3 years. Haiden, Kakuzu, you both will head out to get the Nibi. If she's still in Lightning Country, get her and come back. If not, just report back. If we can get just 1 bijuu before the eyes close, then we'll 1 step closer to our goals. The 2 nodded and left the room. Pain turned to Zetsu. I want you to find Itachi, Kisame, Deidara and Sasori and tell them to report back here. They're late and will be punished. Zetsu nodded and sank into the ground. Pain sighed as a masked man entered the room. Madara-sama. I think you'd better know about this, Pain. Forest outside of Konoha. Itachi watched the road as he waited for Jiraiya and his party to come by. He had left his group in a clearing not far from where he is now to wait for the team. Looking out onto the road, he spotted 5 figures closing in on his location. He waited for them to get closer and jumped down. Naruto, Jiraiya-sama, Tsunade-sama. The 5 ninja relaxed and Naruto walked up. Where is she? Itachi nodded his head in the direction of the forest. My team is keeping watch over her in a nearby clearing. Jiraiya-sama, I trust Naruto has shown you the letter. The Toad-san nodded. Follow. Itachi walked off into the forest with the others following. As they neared, Itachi sighed at the sound of an argument. And I'm telling you, Sasori Dana, that true art is never eternal. True art is there one day and gone the next. Deidara, we've been through this 100 times. True art lasts forever. It'll always be around. Just like my puppets. The 2 continued to argue while Itachi leaned against a tree with Kisame cooking something. How long have they been at this? Itachi asked his partner. The shark man smirked. If you're counting the past, I'd say since they met, but if you mean today, since you left. Itachi sighed as Naruto walked out of the forest with his group looking around. Where is she? Jiraiya asked, getting the arguing pair's attention. Karen looked up from a book she was reading. Over there by Karen. Sasori pointed to the black-haired girl. Jiraiya and Tsunade moved over to the redhead that was laying on her back, while Karen got up and walked over to Naruto. Hey, you're kind of cute. Naruto groaned as Kin glared at the girl. Say, when I settled in Konoha, how about a date? Kin growled at Karen, making the glasses-wearing girl look at her. Back off, he's mine. Naruto shook his head as he wrapped his arm around Kin. Sorry, but she's right. Karen sighed and walked away as Jiraiya shouted curses into the air. God damn that stupid snake. He made a forbidden seal and now I have to unlock it. Damn son of bitch. I should have skinned him alive when I had the chance. This is going to take forever to break. Jiraiya turned when he heard the swishing of a cloak next to him to see Sasori bending down to look at the seal. This is complicated. But I should be able to break it with your help, Jiraiya. I was Suna's seal master after all. Jiraiya nodded as Tsunade picked the woman off the ground and turned to the large group. If you all don't know, I will be the 5th Hokage so you will all be under my protection. Let's go, we've got to see the Hokage. The large group of ninja nodded as they followed the Sannin to the village. The 2 Chunin guards looked up from their posts. Halt. State your name and business. Jiraiya of the Sannin and his team returning from our mission to retrieve Tsunade and her student Shizune. We have 5 ninja that are under her protection as the new Goddamn Hokage that wish to join the village. Itachi Uchiha is here to clear his name and be reinstated as a Leaf Ninja. Now move aside. The Chunin nodded as one went off to inform the Hokage about the new arrivals. As soon as the group entered the gates, a large explosion of smoke erupted with the arrival of several squads of Anbu and the Hokage. Itachi, Kisame, Sasori and Deidara. 4 missing ninja of the highest rank and the 4 strongest of the Akatsuki next to its leader. What are you doing in my village? Tsunade looked around and shook her head. Sensei, I think you'll want to see what they brought us as a peace offering and hear what they have to say. Jiraiya moved away from Tsunade to give Sarutobi a shock. The old man looked to the red-haired woman with shock and confusion as Itachi stepped up. We learned that Orochimaru, when he was with Akatsuki, had taken over one of the bases to turn into his Odo village. My partner, Kisame, once worked in that old base before Odo was formed. He knew the place pretty well and knew Orochimaru had something to hide there. We raided the place and found Kushina and Karen, Itachi pointed to the black-haired girl behind him, in the prison area. We brought her and Kushina here since I agreed to get Naruto his mother back. Sarutobi walked over and took a look at the woman. Otter. Crow. Escort Tsunade and this woman to the hospital. Cat, Ox and Tiger, you will escort Itachi and his group to my office with Jiraiya. Naruto, Shizune and Kin, you 2 are dismissed. The rest of the Anbu will return to your duties. Naruto, I want to speak with you in the morning. Everyone vanished quickly as Naruto and Kin walked off toward home. Hokage office. Sarutobi sat behind his desk and lit his pipe. The group of Akatsuki sat before him while his assigned Anbu were waiting outside the door. Jiraiya leaned against the wall as the Hokage turned to Itachi. I know your reason for going nuke ninja was on my orders. Ibiki and I came up with this the day after you left. Sarutobi held up a scroll. It's a mission scroll stating you were ordered to eliminate your father for treasonous dealing with Orochimaru. As a result, your clan defended him and died for treason. You were then assigned to infiltrate Akatsuki and spy on them. Everything in this scroll is somewhat true since I did give you the order to kill your father, so just show this at your trail and you'll be fine. The Uchiha nodded as he took the scroll from the desk. The old man looked to Kisame. Now, I need to know all of your stories to why I should allow you all to join Konoha. You are all S-class nuke ninja. I'll go first, I guess. Kisame took a deep breath. The 7 swordsmen of the mist were all named nuke ninja when we went against the Sandame's orders to kill anyone who had bloodlines. We wanted him to stop killing off Kekai Genkai, so we planned a coup d'etat against him. Needless to say we failed and only 4 of us escaped from the mist. Zabuza, Raiga, myself and Kagura. Zabuza died by Kakashi's hand almost a year ago, Raiga last I heard, was killed by Hunter Ninja. Kagura is hiding and well, here I am. Sarutobi nodded as he looked to Sasori. I guess mine will be the harder of the 3 of us. As you know, I am Sasori of the Red Sands. I got my status by killing the Shadame Kazukiage. Now, well that is true, it was an accident that I killed him. The Kazukiage and I were sparing when I killed him with a kunai to the throat. Needless to say, I was branded an S-class criminal for that and run out of the village. I took the Kazukiage's body with me since I had no choice. So, I turned him into a puppet. Sasori unsealed the Kazukiage puppet. It pains me to see my sensei like this, but I never wanted to kill him. And turning him into a puppet was your way of keeping him alive. Sasori nodded and Deidara sighed. My turn, yeah. My grandfather, the Yondaime Tsuchikage, found out about me dating the village Jinchuriki. So, he attempted to kill us both. He killed my girlfriend by extracting the demon and I blew up the cage tower after I found out and he attacked me. Making me a criminal, yeah. Sarutobi sighed and nodded and looked to Karen. I'm not a missing ninja, but I guess you can count me as one since Orochimaru kept tabs on me every day. I'm just one of the many kidnapped children he's taken. I can tell you where almost anyone is by just knowing what their chakra feel like. Sarutobi nodded as he called Ox in. Ox, I need you to get me a Biki and a Noichi Yamanaka. I would like to make sure these 5 are telling the truth. The Anbu nodded and left. Namika's household. Naruto sighed as he settled into the hot springs. Once the two had gotten back to the house, Naruto had come here while Kin went to take a shower. He took a deep breath and opened his eyes to see a blonde-haired teen woman sitting across from him. Naruto blinked a few times before rubbing his eyes. The woman across from him was blushing a storm and eyeing him with her cat-like violet eyes. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave and have a talk with a certain old man. When I get back please be dressed and I'm sorry for not knocking. Also, if you see a black-haired woman named Kin, please tell her you are just visiting for a bit while I'm out talking to Sarutobi. She'd kill you and maybe even me if you told her where you met me. Naruto watched as the blushing blonde nodded and closed her eyes. Naruto got out and quickly left the house hot springs. Sasuke Sarutobi. Hokage Tower. Sasuke Sarutobi. Oh shit, I knew I forgot something. The third Hokage gulped as killing intent came pouring from the Namika's estate. Inoichi, Ibiki and the Akatsuki group looked at him with a confused look. Ibiki, please take them to my compound and tell Asuma to set the guest rooms. Now. The bandana-wearing Jonin nodded as he led the 5 ninja out of the office. Inoichi, you're dismissed. Inoichi nodded and left just as the window to the office shattered and Naruto stood with his hand on Kubikiri and covered in red chakra with a single tail. Explain to me why there is another woman in my home beside Kin and who the hell she is. She smells like a cat. Sarutobi chuckled nervously as Jiraiya looked from the boy to his sensei. Well, Naruto, that would be Yujiro Nai and new genin to the leaf. She's the container to the Nibi Nekomata and your new wife. Naruto dropped his sword as he deciphered the last part and glared at the Hokage. You married me off to someone I don't even know and you knew perfectly well I refused the Clan Restoration Act, what the hell. Screw giving you new scars, I'm gonna claw your eyes out and feed them to you. Naruto, it's a treaty agreement to Kumo. They wouldn't take anyone else since the Nara is already engaged to the Yamanaka, Akimichi to another Akimichi, and the Hyugas wouldn't allow a Cloud Ninja to marry into their clan for the fear of them stealing the Byakugan. The Uchiha is out since the Raikage has heard from both myself in the past and Kakashi a few days ago that he is a spoiled brat and believes he should get everything he wants. You were the last choice. The Raikage and myself have agreed to a treaty stating that you both at least give this a try for 2 years and if it doesn't work out then the treaty will still stand. Naruto's killing intent doubled over the conversation, no doubt alerting the Anbu around the tower. Sarutobi, if you ever pull something like that again I swear you're going to know Orochimaru's likes and dislikes in bed personally. Naruto picked his sword up and swung it back on his back before vanishing from the room. Sarutobi paled so much his skin turned paper white while Jiraiya shivered. Note to self, never look Naruto in the eyes ever again. Jiraiya looked at his sensei and nodded. I'm with you there, sensei. He's already put one person in the hospital with Tsukiyami, I don't think it'd be a good idea if he put another person in there. Sarutobi could only agree as he stood from his desk and looked to his student. I believe we have a red-headed fireball to see, don't you? Jiraiya nodded and the two walked out of the office. Namika's clan house. Naruto walked into the house to see Kin and Yujito sitting in the living room with Kin trying to get her to talk. Naruto walked in and placed his Zanbatsu on the mantle that hung above the fireplace before pulling his mask off. Kin-chan, can I talk to you for a bit? Kin nodded as she got up and followed Naruto out of the room. Yujito sighed and drank from her tea, her demon talking to her. Child, you're too quiet. Come on and speak up for once, it won't kill you, Yujito stayed silent as Nibi groaned. Fine, kitten, don't talk. I'll just keep talking to you then. Now let's see what to talk about. Oh, I know. Did you like the view you got of him earlier, kitten? He got into the hot springs. Yujito almost choked on her tea as a blush graced her features. Nibi smirked behind the bars of her cage. Oh, of course you did. Who wouldn't have enjoyed the view you got of his toned and well-defined body? I wonder what he tastes like, don't you, kitten? Okay. You win, I'll stop being quiet. Just please stop talking about that stuff. What's wrong, dear? Feeling a little hot? Wet? No. Yujito's face got redder from Nibi's teasing, making the cat howl with laughter. You're lying, kitten. I have access to your feelings, you forget. I can tell what you're feeling, so no use in denying it. Besides, did you know he holds Kyuubi-sama? If he's going to replace Kyu, then you know what's going to happen if you fail to beat him in a fight. Yujito gulped as she nodded, knowing the consequences of defeat of a bijuus of the opposite sex. What do you mean, wife? Yujito looked up from her tea to the sound of the voice. Kin's killing intent flooded her as the black-haired girl walked into the room with Naruto. As I said, Sarutobi arranged me to marry her in 2 years. Naruto ducked under a kunai that was thrown at him. Kin-chan, please don't, I just found this out myself. Kin turned and glared at him, then back to Yujito. What about me? The Hokage knows we're dating, so did he take me into consideration? Naruto shrugged and dodged another kunai. Kin, please stop throwing things. Kin answered by walking away and out the kitchen door. Ah hell, old man. Maybe I should have put him in Tsukiyami anyway. Naruto shook his head and fell back onto the chair behind him. Sorry you had to see that, Yujito-san. As you would have guessed, I'm Naruto no Kyuubi. It's nice to meet you, Naruto, and I'm sorry for causing so much trouble. Naruto waved his hand in front of his face. It's fine. I just wish the Hokage would have talked to the three of us about it before he made a decision. It would have saved us all the trouble. Yujito nodded and took another drink from her tea. If you want, I'm sure I don't even say it. You're already here and the damage has been done, not by your fault. You may stay here if you want to. It is your choice to stay. We have 2 years to kill before anything happens, so might as well get to know you. Yujito nodded as a knock at the door made Naruto groan. What now? Naruto got up and headed for the door. He opened it to see Kakashi with his eye looking at him with a bored look. Yo. If you're here to tell me we have a mission, I just might kill you. Kakashi chuckled and scratched his head. Actually, I came to see you and your roommates. Naruto looked at him with a raised brow. I would say girlfriends, but that would get me killed and saying Kin and Yujito would be too long. Naruto shook his head and let his sensei in. Yes, you're right about the girlfriend's word, but it wouldn't be by me. Yujito is in the living room. I'll go get Kin. Kakashi nodded and headed into the living room while Naruto headed to the backyard. He looked around and saw she wasn't anywhere in the back, so he went into the woods that surrounded his sakura tree clearing. He found Kin sitting under the biggest tree with her knees tucked close to her chest. Naruto walked closer to her only for roots to shoot up from the ground around her and cover her in a dome. Kin-chan, please come back to the house. Go away, Naruto. I want to be alone right now. Naruto sighed as he stepped closer. Kin heard him getting closer until he was right outside her small dome of wood. Kin-chan, I'm sorry. Whatever it is I did, I'm sorry. Please come back to the house, Kakashi wants to speak with us. Kin's dome didn't budge, making Naruto sigh. Forming several seals, Naruto sunk into the ground and came back up in Kin's wooden dome. It's smaller than it looks. Naruto, please just leave me alone. Naruto lifted her chin to look her in the eye. What's troubling you? Kin's dome fell away as Naruto kept her eyes locked with her. Is it Yujito? Kin nodded. The marriage. Again she nodded. Kin, I don't have to marry her. If I do, it'll be an agreement with all three of us. Since that doesn't look like it's going to happen, you don't have to worry. Will you mark me first? Naruto looked at her confused. What? Will you mark me first if we do decide to get married? Kin-chan, what do you mean? Kin petted the half-demon's whiskers softly, making the boy close his eyes. Demons mark their wives. Would you mark me first? Naruto's eyes shot open and looked at her. Where did you learn that? Kin blushed and looked away. I'm being selfish. Forget it. Naruto shook his head. Kin-chan, where did you learn about that? It was one of the days you were at the hospital helping the Hokage get the poison out of his system that I found a book on demons in your library. It talked about all 9 bijuus and mating. I read the entire book by the time you got home. Naruto nodded his head in understanding. I see, so that's why you were so quiet that night. Kin nodded as Naruto brushed a stray strand of hair behind her ear. Yes, I would. Kin snapped her gaze to his. What? I would mark you as my wife before anyone else, if there ever is. You will be most likely the only one, but you will still be the first one. Kin continued to look into his eyes. She smiled and hugged Naruto, burying her face in his chest. I love you, Naru-kun. I love you too, Kin-chan. Naruto kissed the girl's forehead as he picked her up while standing up. It's late. I'll tell Kakashi to come by in the morning for some breakfast to talk to us about what he needed to. Okay. Kin nodded as she snuggled into Naruto's chest. Naruto created a clone as he walked back and up the back steps while the clone went into the living room. Where's Kin? Boss said to come by for breakfast and we'll talk. It's late and there's been too much drama. Kakashi sighed and nodded. Very well. I will be back in the morning. What time's breakfast? Well, since we just got back from a mission today, I would say around 9:30. Try and be earlier, you won't be getting any. The clone burst into smoke as Kakashi nodded and turned to Yujito. Looks like I'll be back in the morning. Have a good night, Yujito. The cat container nodded as the Jonin got up and walked towards the door. Yujito finished off her tea and took the dishes into the kitchen. She made a wood clone and set to do the work and walked up to the second floor to the room she picked just hours before Naruto arrived. What if Naruto has elements in bijuus chakra? Council bashing, and thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel and leave a like if you guys need the next part, comment down, and thanks for watching the video and see you guys in the next video.